What's up, everybody? Welcome to the latest episode of FlagPlus Football's First and Goal podcast. I'm your host, Brent Bodkin.
And I'm Quaysie with Maule.
All right, so big things. We are officially at the quarter point of the season. Week 4 has wrapped up in pretty much every single division. Week 5 in some divisions is starting tonight. Other divisions, it will be kicking off here this upcoming weekend. We are Thursday, June 18th right now, so halfway through the month of June. Weather is not so good today. The sun is trying to come out a little bit. I'm not a meteorologist, but it's raining really heavy this morning. The sun's trying to come out. Again, it's not snowing. I'm happy. I'm Aquarius. I don't mind a little bit of rain. It's all good for me.
Yeah, it's so weird the weather though. Like it's so off. Some days it was supposed to rain a couple days ago and it was like super sunny. And then now it's pouring rain. It's supposed to rain this whole week for the next I think 10 days it's supposed to just rain. Which is unfortunate because it's like mid-June, you know? It's like okay, this is when you're kind of actually like feeling that it's summer and then you're getting weather like this. But it's hot. It's warm, you know? It's just that it's rain.
I hear you. I mean, I think about June 21st, right? Is the first day of summer. It kind of feels like these spring showers, but the rain's not so bad. I mean, it kind of cools things off at least a little bit. So, I mean, glass half full, I guess.
Yeah, there you go.
All right, so let's hop into it, man. Let's start off. I know you wanted to start off with the co-ed division, so let's hop into co-ed.
Yeah, so co-ed too. So one thing that kind of speaks out to me right away is plenty of fish starting with a 5-0 record. This team, as we both know, they usually do struggle when they do play co-ed one. They dropped themselves down. The rating did kind of change as well too. So they were able to fit the cap for co-ed two. So it all means if you fit the cap, go for it. I personally think it's a great drop for them. And they're dominating, right? They have 176 points for, I think 76 points against. I kind of just looked at that. Yeah, 76 points against, and they're playing well, And the thing that's crazy is like the games that they're in, and other than Speed Academy Mix, which is also a pretty good team, they've been blowing teams out, right? They played no pads, no helmets, just balls, beat them by 24. They played Kamikaze, beat them by 18. Speed Academy still beat this team by 7, so it's still like a possession game. Trouble in Paradise beat them by 26, and Benchwarmers beat them by 29. I'd like to say, 31. Sorry, bad math there. But 31. So to be honest with you, they're blowing out teams. The back end of their schedule is going to be I think it's going to be a bit more difficult. Block Party, the rookies, and Ben's team. That's their back end of their schedule. The last 3 games, I think those are probably the three other better teams in division. So it's gonna be kind of interesting to see how their season's gonna end. But I think before going into those games, they should be 7-0.
Yeah, I think you're right. On a couple of fronts. First off, you're right. I mean, the drop down was a good move for them. We go back to last winter, right? They finished 1-9 in co-ed one. They had the worst defense and the worst rated offense, right? You talk about now, right? What a difference a couple of weeks make. New season really. They dropped down to co-ed 2, like you're talking about, right? And right now, like you talked about, they're on top of the division 5-0. Number 1 defense, and their offense is in the mix, right? One of the top offenses. So it's interesting. I think you talked about their schedule, right? I mean, you look at it going forward, right? Like you said, they have a couple of big matchups coming up. Shark Attack, Certified, Block Party is always going to be an exciting game when they're involved. Ben Pecan, so Ben McMahon's team, like you said, and then they finish off with the rookies. I had a chance actually to scorekeep the rookies game against Kamikaze. Get to that in a second. But like you talked about, right, with your point, with this Plenty of Fish team, the move down is solid, and they're a veteran squad, right? I mean, they have Maule, one of the top quarterbacks in all of FPF, on their team, right? And you go up and down their roster. Seth Galena, right, one of the veterans on this team. Maggie Gervais, right? Theo Ojea, the Hall of Famer, subbed for a couple of games for this team. Dylan Taylor, one of the longtime members, Julian McLaren Thompson. I had a chance actually to talk to Julian a couple of weeks ago about that drop down, and he told me, he's like, "Hey, listen, it's something we needed to do. We weren't having that much success in the highest in co-ed 1, basically. So we wanted to drop down here for the spring season, and it looks to be the right move for the squad again. Like you said, 5-0, sitting on top of the division.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm happy for them. I feel like it must have been so frustrating for a team like this because they're not a bad team, and just I think and one thing I don't want any hate or that, but I think it's also kind of difficult when you're playing co-ed one. It's a bunch of good athletes, right? Everyone's super fast, everyone's super good.
Yeah.
So sometimes it's to a point where when you're a women's quarterback and you're playing out there, you can't do as much as you want to do, or the stuff they're used to doing, where that pass to the outside where it should be complete ends up being a pick six, or it just doesn't work out. Where co-ed two, I feel like the teams, the talent of the teams that they do kind of make a little drop, but you're able to complete those passes and actually get a rhythm going. Where in co-ed one, where it's to a point where you play two top teams, your rhythm's not going, and then it just goes down from there. So like I'm happy for them. They made this jump. The thing that's unfortunate is like, I think they're gonna dominate this division, and it's gonna be a
Yeah.
point where, well, if you dominate co-ed two, like you can't go back to co-ed two after going 8-2 and maybe losing the finals. It doesn't make any sense, right? So it's like you go back to co-ed one, and you kind of get you're still playing you're playing against all these teams you played against before. It would be great if they had like a division, like a co-ed 1.5.
Yeah, I mean, you can make that case for a lot of teams, right? There should be that kind of not full division job, but kind of a half division job, like you're talking about. And yeah, I think you're right. Like, if they dominate, which all signs, at least right now, the first half of the year point to them dominating, and they win the championship, yeah, they shouldn't be allowed to go back to co-ed too anymore. And you know what? For this team, maybe this is just the confidence boost that they needed, right? They go down, they take a step back to take two steps forward, right? Some hopefully in the fall season they'll be in Core One, or at the latest next winter, right back in Core One, and have a better time at it than they had last year, again going 1-9 in the winter season for 2026.
Yeah. So you were talking about the rookies, right? You said you score kept one of these games because they're dominating as well, right? They're 5-1 right now.
Definitely, definitely. So I scored kept the game, like I said, this past Saturday against Kamikaze. So my apologies to both teams. The actually have the old school iPad here. This for some reason, so I was scorekeeping. I have a separate scorekeeping job with the Peterkin family, right? With Andy, so Emerson and Tyson's dad. So I was scorekeeping a kids playoff league that they had with the LaSalle Warriors prior to coming to Concordia at 12 o'clock. So the last game I did finish at 11:30. I raced to get over there. Of course, when you're in a rush, there's always traffic. So I got there like literally 12 o'clock. But then I had did the bulk download as we do, right, on the iPad. And for some reason it didn't work. I couldn't get into the system. So what I do is I'm old school. I literally took all the notes of the game on a notepad. I don't know if you could see it. So I have a light in my room, I have a UV light, and you can't really see it. I have all the names here. So I took everyone's names and I was putting plays in, kind of play after play. And then eventually, I think the last minute or so of the game, it started to work again. But at that point, I'm like, all right, I tried to enter the stats as best as I could. So the final score I got correct. The final score was 34-6 for the rookies over Kamikaze. So again, my apologies to both teams. Just sometimes when you need technology to work, it doesn't always work. But the whole point of wanting to bring them up is I came away impressed. I talked about this team early in the year, right? I had a chance to score, keep them. Talked about Cedric Maurice, dynamic dual threat quarterback. But it's not just him, right? It's not just a one man show on this team. Like I'm really impressed by the females on this team, like Elodie Simino, one of the leaders on that team, especially defensively, right? There's Megan Trudell. Timothy Nema Lacasse. He plays in a bunch of different divisions. I have seen him play once earlier in the year, but not in depth. I had a chance to really watch him to see the impact he has on both sides of the ball for whatever teams he plays on. And I came away again, like I was like, this guy can ball. This guy can ball. And they had a couple of subs. So Michael Caparelli, up the quarterback for one stop, he was on this team. Nicholas Canes too, I believe he played a couple of snaps for this team pardon me, as well. But they just have a lot of depth. All the females can ball. Like Camille Dumas was playing in the game, Ariane Boucher, everyone from top to bottom. Like when they play, it's really a whole group effort. I find with this team, it's not just one or two guys or one or two girls making all the plays. And again, they blew out Kamikaze. And Kamikaze, they have some veteran players on their team, right? It's not a bunch of scrubs on Kamikaze. And I just found that it was like Kamikaze would make a play, and then there'd be two or three plays going against him, whether it was an interception, a turnover on downs, passes deflected. And again, I'm looking at this kamikaze team, right? Jean-Sebastien Saint Arnaud, he's the rusher on my team. A great player, both sides of the ball. Gabriel Lemon, right? They have some ballers. Efri Patron, or Patroni, I think that's how you pronounce it. Rachel Shea was playing in the game as well. Emily Adam. They have players that can ball, and just the rookies came out and just dominated them pretty much from start to finish.
Which is kind of weird because Kamikaze is a team that usually is one of those top teams in the division. But again, one thing you do have to really kind of realize is that the cap, right now the cap for the co-ed 2 is high. So I'm pretty sure Kamikaze probably could have fit in co-ed 3, but I think they kind of realized like we can't go co-ed 3, it's going to be too easy for us. Or maybe they felt like it's going to be too easy for us, and that's like a huge dip from going from playing quad 2, dropping down to quad 3 wouldn't make any much sense. But they do like, I mean, they're back. Their first 4 games that they played plenty of Flish. Again, they're one of the top teams right now. They barely beat Trouble in Paradise, but a win's a win. They played Bach Party, again, one of the top teams usually, and they played the Rookies, which is also one of the top teams. So hopefully for them, their back end schedule gets a bit more easier. I don't really see it. I'm just kind of looking at it right now. They play Certified. They play Ben's team. They play Easy Fun. They play No Pads, just no helmets. They play Bench Warmers, and they play Double Dip. So I think Kamikaze probably had one of the hardest schedules with the 13 teams. I think, like, to be honest with you, other than Trouble in Paradise and who's Certified actually, before I start talking. Oh, Certified is really good. The quarterback's really good. That's also a good team. Just Balls and Helmets. That all depends on. I think that's Kushtel's team, right? Yeah, it depends if Kushtel's there. Usually he's not there because he's with the Team Canada activities. And then Benchwarmers. I think Benchwarmers is not one of the greatest teams as well either. They have their own 3. That's Alex. Said us.
That's in this team.
Yeah. That's his team. Where usually it's weird that they're 0-3 as well too. I guess maybe their roster is not up to par, but this was a team that they're able to compete if he's on his game. And looking at the roster is a bit not greatest for Quad 2. So I mean that's also a team that's a game that can win. But out of those 3 teams that I named, I mean those are the easier teams, and the 7 others are pretty good teams. So unfortunately for Kamikaze, like they didn't get the best schedule, but hopefully they'll be able to kind of still make a playoff push. 5 teams don't make playoffs, right? And right now they're 1-3, so hopefully for them they can finish maybe 3-7, 3-6, 4-6, and kind of maybe sneak in there as like an 8 seed and try to make a playoff push.
Yeah, hopefully. I mean, again, there's still a lot of ball left to play, but you know they have a chance to kind of get back on their feet and after the loss and make something happen, right?
It's also sorry, just one thing. It's interesting to see that some of these teams already played 6 games.
Yeah. Definitely. Yeah, you see now, like even I'm looking right now, even at Co-ed 1, right? A couple of teams have played 5, some teams have played 4, and then you have other divisions where some teams have only played 2, right? So it's again the schedule in FPF not always the easiest to navigate, and when teams have their games and all that stuff, but it is what it is. When you actually do play, just try your best to get the W and see what happens.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go to Co-ed 1 for a second. I had a chance to keep a game. It was so Lego my flag against Les Woos. I gotta say, it was Saturday. I think the game was at 1, I want to say. Let me just double check this. I should know actually because I kept the game. Yeah, the game was at no, sorry. I'm wrong.
Yeah, so
Yeah, no,
June
the game was
13th.
at 2.
Yeah, at
Yeah,
2
the game was
o'clock.
at 2. I thought it was, yeah, it was at 2. So Lego my flag losing 26-25 to Les Woos. I gotta say it was an exciting game. So Ivan Salaman, friend of the show, scorekeeper, so he started at quarterback for his team, but I'm wrong. He didn't start at quarterback. Actually, it's Philip. So Philip Orcel. I wrote about him a couple weeks ago. Actually last week, I believe, in the 5v5 article that I put out. I will have another one coming out today, by the way. So he's a former, I believe, View Morial quarterback, and his footwork. I was watching him. I was standing next to Jeff Rosenblatt, quarterback for Lego My Flag, and obviously the owner right now of FPF. And we were just looking at his footwork, and his footwork was really good, and his release was nice, and he has a rocket for an arm. Is he the tallest quarterback? No, I think maybe he's 5'8", 5'9" on a good day, but he could throw the ball with some authority, and he didn't throw a lot in this game. He went 2 of 5 for 32 yards, but I was impressed with the ball coming off of his hands. I know he played quarterback for full games earlier in the season, not just for bits and parts, as he did here. But then Ivan Salaman came in; he was solid as well, right? 113 yards, 3 TDs. But this game was back and forth. Lego my flag. And Little League was a one-sided game. They were up 25-6 at half, and then basically they Wolves took over and outscored their opponents 20-0 in the second half. And a lot of that was again due to Salaman and Orcel. Really big games. So Orcel, when he wasn't throwing the ball, he was catching the ball. He had 2 receiving touchdowns to lead his team. And it's just like the ladies are making plays like Hillary Hilaire, Samora Fantasaco, Dakota Scott. So Dakota Scott, I'm gonna get to her in a few minutes. I don't know, Quaysie, if you've seen her play, but she is one of the fastest players, not just females, one of the fastest players in FPF. Shawnee Mitch, who was a guest on the show a couple of weeks back, shout out to her. She made a really big presence, a really big impact on defense, and she led all players with 4 tackles. So shout out to her. And of course, you have Jordan and Alexis on the team as well, right? So I mean, you have a lot of speed. Sam Safard as well, a lot of speed, a lot of depth, a lot of length on this team. And Rosenblatt, as you know, right? Lego my flags, Jeff. There's Phoebe Gervais. So shout out to Phoebe. Speaking of fast players, shout out to Phoebe Gervais. She started off the game. I believe she got the first TD of the game. She did a go route and Jeff just tossed the ball up there, and Phoebe ran up and grabbed the ball, and she had the funny celebration. She had her hands up like this with the ball in the end zone, just holding it up. But I don't know if she was surprised that she caught it or not, because she's a really good player. But it's the look on her face, like we were all laughing on the sideline. So shout out to Phoebe on that grab, and of course, guys like Sanders Armand. So they had JC Furlong. I don't think he's on the team full time, but he was there. He was doing his thing as a rusher, and he even had a hard time bringing down Solomon and Orcel as well. So at Maya DeFazio as well, shout out to her. She made an impact. But it's a really Adam Malinoff, a really exciting game between two teams. It was back and forth. At least that's what the score indicates. But again, second half was all Les Wolves, and they pretty much just they dominated from the first whistle of that second half.
That's kind of crazy. Lego My Flag scored 25 in the first half, and they scored 0 the second half. And they
Yeah,
lose the game 26-25. That's, to me, that's kind of, I mean, Jeff, unacceptable. First of all, at that point, if you should score 25, you should at least be able to score at least 6 the second half. Like that doesn't make any sense to me. I guess maybe Lewu made a couple adjustments. I see they got some interceptions here and there and a pick six from Philip, but like still, like that's not that's something you don't like to see. Usually when a team's up 25-6 going to halftime, you pretty much are like, hey, guys, the game is over. The only way we lose this is if we lose the game. And
turn over the ball. That's it.
Yeah, that's how they lost the game. But,
well,
you know what happens?
Lego My Flag, sorry. Lego My Flag had a chance to get the ball into the end zone last play of the game. They got the ball back last, and they were driving, and Orcel picked off Jeff to end the game. So, yeah.
It happens. I guess that drops down Lego My Flag to 1-3. So I mean, it is what it is. The one thing that again, I don't like it at all. I don't like when you play a division and teams are automatically in the playoffs, because it's like to a point where like you're playing for chemistry and you're playing to get your money's worth, but like there's no like, I guess like you get buys at the end of the day, right? And Quad 1. Top 3 teams get buys, and then 4 and 5 play quarterfinals. So you avoid yourself in that first playoff matchup. But like you could go, Lego My Flag could go 0-9. They can still make a playoff. They can still make playoffs. Their roster is good enough as long as if they get most of their players. There's 5 games, and then they could like literally just destroy. I mean, not destroy, but they could get themselves in, and maybe they'll play the merge or the mismatch or. It's probably one of those 2 teams, or even a Tea Party, depending on the situation, how the rest of the season ends. But like, they get into playoffs without going 1-9, which is like crazy. Like you don't win 1 game or 2 games this season, you still make playoffs, and then you just start making some upsets going down the line. You know, I always felt like it is unfortunate that there's only 5 teams in Quad 1 this season, but it is what it is. But the fact that everyone makes playoffs, it's kind of shitty, I find.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. But it is what it is, right? With the teams. I mean, to have four teams get in and one not get in, I mean, that is the best way to do it, I guess, with only five teams, but it is what it is. I know this coming week there's only one matchup this Saturday. It's going to be well, we talked about them, right? The 1-3 leg on my flag taking on 2-2 the merge this Saturday. I like all the field, obviously for Con U at 2 p.m. So that'll be I'll be watching that game. That'll be a good one. Two teams again, like on my flag, looking to avenge their loss, and even the merge. Right again, like I said, they're 2-2 right now. The merge, but they're coming off actually a big win. So they beat Tea Party uh, back in week 3, but they lost the first meeting against Leg on My Flag. No, pardon me, so no, they beat actually Leg on My Flag. So Leg on My Flag is looking to they to end up on the winning side after losing last week and also get revenge on the merge because they lost 51-42 back in week 2. Did flag beating the merge beating Leg on My Flag.
Interesting fact before we go into Code 3 or Code 4. Lewu are 3-1, right? If you look at their points for and points against, it's actually doesn't make any sense. They have 90 points for and they have 131 points against with 6 points
Yeah,
and a
yeah,
point for a plus minus of minus 41. That's something you never see. Like that's
it's true. It's
crazy. I guess
true.
their first game they got absolutely destroyed. Oh yeah, because they have a forfeit. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, they have a former tea party, so it's 60 when they went, they lost 60-0. Okay, now I kind of, and I was like, how does that make any sense? But okay, I get it. That makes sense.
I know.
Let's go into Code 3 real fast to kind of see what's going around there, and then we'll kind of hop into Code 4, and then just because we didn't really talk much
Sure,
about it.
sure.
So Code 3, again, the Woos have two teams. They have a Code 2 team and a Code 3 team. So it's kind of interesting. See, that kind of just goes to show.
Yeah,
Actually, no, sorry, it's a whole different team. So like, yeah, again. So the Woos have two teams, but they're not the same team.
good on the same end.
They're not the same team, which is kind of interesting. There you go. I didn't really know that. I just goes to kind of show it's kind of funny how they what are this the same name? Am I going crazy? It might be. Okay, so one's in English, one's French. Okay, it
It's
looks
a
it
different
looks
team. It's two
yeah.
different
I know
teams.
it's two different teams.
The
I know
names are the same,
some.
but it's
I know
two completely
some of the
different
girls
teams.
played on the Woos though before the English team, or the French one. But anyways, interesting to see this division. Again, only 9 teams, which is something you don't really see for Code 3. Usually Code 3 is kind of stacked, but because you have Code 4 there, it kind of like separates the two. Usually for Code 3, we see about like 15, 16, 17 teams. But we still kind of have the top teams that we kind of are used to seeing. Back that pass up, 3-2. And Michael Scott Tots, right? Those are two of the teams that we kind of
Yep.
know about. If you had to kind of pick one of these teams that you think that's gonna be able to win the championship, who would you pick right now? The ninth
I
team.
so you know I'm not gonna lie. I wanted to talk about Michael Scott's tots for a second. Just I'm gonna to answer your question. I'll pick them, and I'm gonna tell you why. Their offense has been prolific pretty much the entire season, right? Looking at it here, week 1, okay, they scored 34 points. And I thought Flag Me Daddy 34-25. Okay. They lost week 2. They lost to Lyso Maule Flag 26-21. So one possession game, right? And then they turn around, they put 38 on back that pass, so they beat them 38-37. So I'm like, okay, cool. Look at the record, it's bouncing on a bit. They get blown up by the fatties well, not blown up, but they lose 14-12. Pardon me, one score game. I thought it was 44 for a second. No, 14-12. And then they get beat by Phantom Trooper in first place, 34-25. That was week 3. But what have they done since then? Well, the last 2 games they blew out the fatties. So they got some revenge. They beat them 34 nothing. So Michael Scott's tots were for 34 nothing win over the fatties, and then they blew out Les Moines 35-14, right? So their offense has been pretty solid the last couple of weeks. And of course, the defense, like I said, when you pitch a shutout as they did against the Fatties, you got to talk about that, right? So David DeAndre, five TD passes in that game. And I'm not sure what happened with the Fatties. I mean, they had a combination of 4 different quarterbacks, and it wasn't good. Those quarterbacks combined for, I want to say here, I'm going to do the quick math for 90. 114, 121 yards. So four quarterbacks combined for 121 yards and two INTs. So yeah, not exactly the recipe for success there. But again, credit to the Michael Scott Tots defense on doing what they do. They got the W. They got a couple of sacks. Jennifer Peruz or Peruz, pardon me, and David DeAndre, they both got a sack. They got an INT from Chloe Brazo. So I know, so good defensive performance, and as well Denzel Idilo, so FPF veteran, he helped out to getting an INT in that game, and then like I said, they turned around basically the next day because that was Saturday. On Sunday, playing Laval again, they beat Le Moyne de Mou 35-14. So two games, you let in a total of 14 points. You know your defense is doing something well.
Yeah. Well, it also doesn't help that they played the bottom two teams
True,
of the
true,
standings.
true.
But at the end of the day, they have to show up, they have to play, they have to ball. One team I did also want to talk about before we get to Coed Four is Phantom Troop. So this
Yep,
this is
yep.
this is the team that I saw them playing when you were scorekeeping maybe 2 weeks ago when we were at Loyola, and I was wondering to see who the quarterback was because I was very confused. I knew it was Coed. I wasn't sure if it was Coed 3 or Coed 4, but anyways, it was Coed 3, and it was Chelsea Britton. So she's at
Yeah,
Q,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
And
yeah, 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 yeah.
she
I've
was
seen her. She's
throwing
good.
some
Good.
pretty good damn balls, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then
Mm-hmm.
they just played their last game was June 8th. They actually played Michael Scott Thoughts, and they won that game 34-25. So I think that's the game that we did see, or maybe it was. But anyways, I wasn't sure exactly what team it was, but finally now I knew who it
Oh,
was.
it
She's
was the
good.
fatties. She played the fatties because it was in. I
Okay.
don't go to Merrific. I tried to avoid that place like the plague. I did. It was a Bassard game. I was scorekeeping Bassard when we saw her. I think.
Okay.
Like, I know
That
that's
makes
the
that
last
would
time
make
I
sense.
saw.
But I was interested to see who she was and also that team, right? Right now they're 4-1. They're doing a great job, and she's doing like again. She's been in this league since 2024. I see. Let me just kind of look at her profile. I believe she's been in the league since 2024. She was more as a looks like she was kind of subbing for Supernova. Sorry, she came back in spring 2023. So she didn't really play much in for the women's cup. The women's cup. So again, we're going kind of back here. She played one game for Supernova, and then back in spring she played an area game for Supernova, and then she played for anything, but she didn't play as quarterback. She played for Mixology, so a couple subs. Played two games here. She played back in women's B as quarterback. Then she came back in Code 3 in Fontub Troop and Spring. No, sorry, that's right. So that's right now. And then she played winter, but she didn't really play. She had two full seasons with Pitsit Viet and Code 3, where she actually did pretty good. 27 touchdowns, 8 INTs, 4 sacks, played 10 games, threw for 1,123 yards. So not bad at our QBR rating. 98.1, completion rate 58.7. So again, not bad at all. But right now it looks like she's on a groove, and she's playing good.
Yeah, no, shout out to her. Like I said, I saw her a couple weeks ago against the fatties, and I came away impressed. She's petite. She's not a tall player at all. I think she's maybe 5'5", if that. But yeah, she has a strong arm, and she's not afraid to test it downfield. And she's accurate. She's really accurate, and she throws a strong ball. So I'm actually I want to see her play more this season. I'm gonna hopefully have a chance to score keep some more of their games. But yeah, I came away in limited action that I've seen her. I came away pretty impressed. And it sounds like you're kind of feeling the same way.
Give me 1 second, sorry.
All right, so let's hop over to co-ed fours. I don't know. I think Quayzie's having a Halloween party at his house or something. Uh, did he pay the electric bill? No, I'm joking. All right. So let's go to co-ed four quick. So looking at it here, right? So one thing I noticed. So catch my balls. They've had about 3 games over the course of just a couple of days. Of course, at least in week 4, they had a game on Friday, June 12th, right? So they laid a beat down on Vodka Red Bull 40-18. And then the next day, Saturday the 13th, they lost tough one by 6 points to the Flamingos. They lost 20-14. They were back at it this past Sunday at Laval, and they lost by a score of 30-15 to Vicious and Delicious. So 3 games for Catch My Balls. Unfortunately, they came out 1-2 uh in those 3 games. For them, they're back in action, so they're off week 5 and they're off week 6. They're back in action going forward all the way week 8 actually. As they take on Too Fast Monami. That's going to be in Brassard. Actually, I'll be scorekeeping that game on July 14th, so a bit of a break for them. But looking at like pardon, looking at the other games just to say, pardon me, this week. So 3 games this week: Les Moons against Vodka Red Bull, and Les Moons. That's Thursday tonight, actually in Laval. And then Saturday they're back in Ashland against Flamingos, and then it wraps week 5 wraps up this coming Tuesday, Sax Appeal and Brassard against Vicious and Delicious to wrap things up here for week 5 for Co-Ed 4.
Did you sorry, Brent, just to kind of did you talk about Gabrielle Briga?
I was going to bring her up in a second.
Okay.
Okay. I was going to bring her up. All right.
Okay, well, because
But,
we're in quad 4 right now, right? So might
yeah,
as well.
yeah.
So go ahead. You could.
Yeah. Okay, so I was going to say, so one thing we want to do here on the podcast, right, is shout out our players of the week. Like I said at the top, I know the week 4 players haven't been announced yet, but let's go at least to week 3 and give a shout out. So one of those players Quaysie alluding to is Gabrielle Brega of Catch My Balls in Division Co-Ed 4. So she's one of the players of the week. We got a guy I'm going to talk about after Mathis Pilon, Division E with the South Shore Crash Outs. So Timothy Nema Lacasse, I talked about him earlier, playing co-ed with the rookies. He also plays in Division A with ECW, so he's one of the players of the week. Anthony Robichaud, Division D2 with Vicious and Delicious. Player of the week, Alice Lucier from Women's A with the Birds. Ben McMahon, co-ed 5v5 have activated. Plenty of Fishers, Maule Lacasse, we talked about earlier, right? So she's the co-ed 2 player of the week. And rounding it out for co-ed 5v5 with Flagmont de Croix is the veteran quarterback, and Alex, pardon me, Nado Puis. So those are the players of the week for week 3. The players of the week for week 4 should be coming up fairly soon. Look out for it, of course, on FlagPlus Football's FPF page, and we'll give a shout out to those players next week. But again, congratulations to the 8 players that got named player of the week for week 3 here for FlagPlus Football.
Yeah, it's also pretty cool to get nominated for something like that, especially when you don't realize it all either. When you have like when you have a pretty good game. Again, we kind of mentioned Mona Class making that jump down to co-ed 2, and again, I don't know exactly week 3. I'm not exactly who she played against, but she went 19. Well, it says 19 completions, 226 yards, 6 TDs, and 0 INTs. You know, so for the players that never played quarterback, to throw for over 200 yards, I'm telling you now, it's hard to do. Okay, like I played quarterback, and sometimes look at my stat line. I am a runner. Sometimes look at my stat line and say I'll go like 9 for like 18 if I'm lucky enough to throw that many passes. But like I don't think I even hit over 200 yards last season when I was playing Division 5A. So to go over 200 yards and throwing 0 INTs and complete 19 passes, it's hard to do playing anywhere. So it's also nice to kind of just give people shout outs and stuff like that.
Well, I'll give Mo the shout out because she actually did better than that against the bench warmers last Thursday. She went 15-17 for 204 yards and 6 TDs.
Okay.
And her team beat the bench warmers 43-12. So that's even better. As hard as that is to believe.
Yeah, she's balling out right now. I'll be surprised if she's not close to winning at least a quarterback of the year for co-ed 2 this year.
She should.
Did you want to jump into? Where did you want to?
Let's do 5v5. Let's knock it out because obviously only competitive. And intermediate here for 5v5. The 5v5 action here. So one thing I noticed in intermediate, right? Obviously, right now, Coconut Gain and Flag Avengers still the only undefeated teams, right? Coconut Gain, pardon me. So they call them Coconut Avengers. Coconut Gain 4-0. Flag Avengers 3-0, right? There's a couple of teams like Junkyard Dolls, Veteran Squad. I had a chance to watch them the other day. They're 4-1, so they're in the mix, as is Void, right? Void 3-1, they're definitely in the mix. One team not too far back, right? The Mighty Schmucks. I talked about them last week, had a chance to watch them. Charles Cassette was throwing for them last time I saw them in Bassard, right? 2-2. And then we have Only Flags 1-5, and then followed by Team YS, who's 0-4, as is Poseidon's Kiss. A little surprise there with Poseidon's Kiss. But in Coconut Game, right, sitting on top of the division with a 4-0 record, they have the Mighty Schmucks coming up. That's going to be this Sunday, Father's Day, in Laval. So I think that's going to be a big game. Again, I like what I saw. I haven't seen Coconut Game play yet. I'm not going to act like I have. I have not. But I led by Marc-Andre Reeves. and a lot of the guys from the merge, right? Mikhail Foray, Gap Couture, you know what to expect out of this team, right? It's going to be a lot of pinpoint passing by Reeves, and then he's using his athleticism to buy time for his receivers to get open. So it's going to be a good test, pardon me, against the mighty Schmucks, right? Like I said, this mighty Schmucks defense, talked about it last week. They have guys like Charles Cassette, right? One of the top players on the team. Will Seabag, right? So a lot of those guys. It's gonna be a good game. It's gonna be a good game. I expect Coconut Gang to come out on top, but Mighty Schmucks, they have some athleticism, right? So we'll have to see if they can knock off the 4-0 Coconut Gang. Flag Avengers, right? Like I said, they're 3-0 right now. So Flag Avengers, looking at the schedule, well, they're playing the Void. They have the
Yeah.
Void this Saturday, right? So that's going to be a good matchup. Like I said, 3-0 Flag Avengers, the Void right behind them, sitting at 3-1, right? So they both have 6 points. So the winner of that game is going to have sole possession of third place here in their division. So that's going to be a big game against, again, pardon me, once again, Void and Flag Avengers this weekend.
Yeah, so Flag Adventures of the Void actually played. Um, well, they played last week or 2 weeks ago, where
Yeah,
Flag
forfeit.
Void actually bust the cap. So that game ended
Oh, yeah,
28. Sorry, it ended 30-0, but mathematically, kind of looking at it now, 18 plus 25 is 30. It ended 43-33. So Jeff busted cap for the guys that they had. Looking at their roster,
wow.
only shows 4 guys, but Felix Boutte played, and some other guys. Who else was there? Nicholas DeMille, uh, Will Branch.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess they anyway. Maybe there were some other guys that didn't have jerseys, but they busted the cap. So Flag Avengers actually won that game 30-0. So we're gonna have pretty
Okay,
much a
okay.
rematch. Um, Hopefully Jeff's team doesn't bust the cap, so we can actually have a game that's gonna count. On what I mean does count, but I mean as there's a reason why I was kind of also look. The only reason why I kind of was looking at that because Flag Ventures only allowed 27 points in 3 games, right, compared to like most other teams that are
Right,
allowing more
right.
than 70 plus. But the fact when you win a game 30-0, that does help a lot. So
Yeah,
there's also
exactly.
there's that. One team I'm very kind of concerned and surprised that both Team YS and Poseidon's Kiss, they're 0-4 and they're both struggling, both offensively. They're both
Yeah, I
struggling.
was gonna say, yeah, exactly.
It's kind of like 55 for Poseidon. It's going down Poseidon's Kiss. They've scored 55 points and allowed 149, which is kind of insane to me. Even though it's a team that they're used to, again, Poseidon's Kids is a team that, depending on their roster, who they're bringing, but when you have Rocco, he's a Division B, Division A quarterback. I guess maybe his roster is a bit struggling, but he knows guys. Like, there's no reason why this team should be 0-4. I know the format is different. I think he's kind of making his way into the 5-5 concept to try to see how it is, and maybe it's something he would rather play. But
Mhm.
very bad start, and also a team like YS. Again, these guys are all athletes. They've been playing this league for a while. The fact that these guys are also 0-4 is surprising, right? You have Zach Deschamps as quarterback, which usually is, I think
Yeah,
he believes is the quarterback for no regard. But this is
yeah,
a
no,
team
yeah,
that
exactly. Yeah,
they shouldn't be 0-4. Like I understand um, the division is kind of strong, right? Coconut Gang, Jaguar Dogs, Flag Vendors, Void, Mighty Smucks, Only Flags. Like all these teams are good teams. They're not like I can't think, oh, this is a bad team. Or like if you don't come to play every single week, you could lose games. So you can't just come and show up and just figure, okay, guys, we're gonna just win this game that easy. Like you actually have to come play. So, but the fact that this team is 0-4, it's surprising, and the fact that like again they played Coconut Gang week 1, they lost by 13. Mighty Shucks, you guys got blown up by 23. You guys played a struggling Only Flags team that's coming in from Division 6A, a Division 6A championship, which they're also struggling, but at the end of the day, they lose by 1, and then they play Coconut Gang again, which is like the top team, but you lose by 1. So I mean, it's not horrible, but it's the fact that you guys have to win a game soon. They play
yeah,
Poseidon Kiss
yeah, yeah.
this Saturday, so hopefully that should be their first win because by this Saturday we should have at least only one team left without a win because there's 2 teams that have 0-4 and 0-4 playing against each other.
No, 100%. But I couldn't agree more. I mean, teams have to kind of get on their stuff And yeah, like I said, I think after this weekend, it should be only be one team with that record. So I mean, we'll have to wait and see, right? I mean, anything could happen. But again, hopefully this weekend again, some big games coming up over the next couple of days. So hopefully Poseidon's Kiss and Team YS will be able to kind of get their act together and do something. Because again, right now we're about to hit the midway point of the year, right? And 0 wins on the calendar. That trek to really not just even make the playoffs, but to at least do damage when you get there gets harder and harder as each game each week passes.
Yeah, and one thing I do love about this is that not everyone makes playoffs.
Yeah,
Only six
exactly,
teams make
exactly.
playoffs. So two teams are not making playoffs. So you don't get the benefits of okay, guys, we go 2-8, and we're just gonna sneak our way into playoffs. Everyone makes playoffs, and then we'll start playing. No, no,
Yeah,
no, no, no. Listen,
yeah,
you're
yeah,
0
yeah.
4, and this
You have to
goes
earn
out
your
for
way in.
both Team
Yep.
YNS and Poseidon's Kids. You guys are 0 4. If you don't go at least, I guess you have only flags that are also kind of struggling, but this team can vamp themselves up. They could get some wins. But you guys are gonna have to at least go 3-7, or maybe at least 3-7. So you're gonna have to start getting some wins where you don't get the privilege of having a horrible season and just making playoffs and like okay, like you have teams like
Yeah.
this, like they'll make playoffs and they'll win a championship, but not this season. You're gonna have to get some wins to actually get a spot where you deserve to make playoffs.
I can't lie. Like the twinkle in your eye as you say that when you talk about not everybody getting in. It's
Yeah, because I
hilarious.
hate it. I actually no, I
Yeah,
actually
I hear
despise.
you.
Like, don't get me wrong. If my team was struggling, and again, I have some teams that are struggling. Like my co-ed 5v5 team, I think we're 1-3. Um, but like, you don't deserve to make. It doesn't to me. It doesn't make any sense. Like you should like. I get it. There's not a lot of teams, and you want to make everyone make playoffs, but like
Yeah,
no, because it's still a point. Like I was even talking about it, and when we were gonna go into competitive 5v5. It's the same thing where everyone makes playoffs, and competitive 5v5. I guess we'll jump into that right now. Um, every team is good. Like it's to a point where if you have a bad game, you will lose. Right? There's only five
yeah,
teams. Everyone's making playoffs, so it's like again, I'm playing for infantry this year. If we go 0-9, or sorry, we're 1-3. We're in 3. So if we go 1-9, right, we could still win a championship. Like I
yeah.
trust this roster that we have where we could, if everyone's on their game and our chemistry gets better and Dan plays amazing game, like we could beat anybody in this division, which is like it's kind of crazy to say because let's say Braves go 8-1, they go 9-1, and Party Crashers go whatever 6-4, and Spikemon goes 7-3. Raw Dogs go 2-8, Infantry goes 2-8, right? It's like those are the records. Both Raw Dogs, Infantry could win a championship, and it's like, oh yeah, cool, we won a championship. What was your regular season record? 1-9, and then you win a championship. Like it doesn't make any sense. Like going 1-9 shouldn't be not rewarded, but you shouldn't be able to make playoffs. There should be like a cutoff line. If you don't win 3 games the season, you're not in playoffs. Like something around those lines. But that's just me. That's the competitive side, like the competitive nature of me. Like I don't know. Like I'm also a person too. Like when everyone gets trophies and stuff. What do you call those? When you're at a
Participation
tournament, like
trophies.
yeah, like don't no. If I have a
Cause
kid,
James
when I get a
Harrison.
kid, I don't want that. Like no, my kid does not deserve. No, okay, you didn't win. Like let them know now. It's
Second place is the first loser, eh?
like it's so like I guess like if you're a kid, like to a point, but like I get it, it's nice to see, but like you're not a winner, okay? Like don't treat him as a winner. You're not a
You're a
winner.
loser.
Yeah, don't want to put it that way, but anyways, it could just be me. But that's how I am. That's how I kind of grew up too, and that's why
I
I'm
hear
so
you. I
competitive.
hear you on
People have
that.
to
I hear you.
realize, like, be like, oh, yo, relax. No, I want to win, okay? Like there is
I hear
there
you.
is points where like yeah, you want to relax and it's all funny games and stuff like that. Like don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But there's also like the point where no, I'm coming here to win. Period.
I hear you on that. I agree for that. I agree with that as well. I don't like participation trophies. I mean, when you're little, I remember I grew up playing baseball as a kid, and everyone. I was at my mom's house the other day, and she still has all my trophies and stuff. And like I remember getting it's this little. We have like at the Rose Bowl, the one at NDG, it's still there. So I grew up in NDG, and like we would get these little trophies. They were like maybe the size of my cell phone, right? And be like a little plaque thing at the bottom. And then little mounting metal piece, and then one baseball bat here and another baseball bat there. So it was like about this size, right? And we all got them as kids. I think I was like 8 or 9 when I got those. Those were okay, but after a certain age, I think once you hit double digits, you shouldn't be getting participation trophies for anything. Like I remember coaching my flag football team for GMAA tournament every year, and they would get participation ribbons. And I'd be mad on the inside. Yeah, we lost the game. Like I mean, we lost to flight school, I think in the semifinals 1 year. And like my kids were all happy that they got participation trophies. There's like 2 or 3 kids that have played tackle. They were like, nah, this sucks. I don't want any of this. But a lot of them were like, oh my God, I'm so happy we got these. Inside, I was like, I want to take these all away and throw them in the garbage. Just leave them on the field. I don't give a crap about them. But I'm
Yeah,
not gonna do that to kids or elementary school kids. But I mean, yeah, I understand what you're saying. I don't agree with participation trophies.
yeah, no,
You don't
it's
get
it's
nothing out of it.
it's but like I guess like this is not around the same thing, but I just finished coming back from the Toronto like national championships, and we had a stack roster. We went down there to like as our goal was to win it all, right? We came down there. We had it was in Guelph, so we all took the drive down there as a team, rented Airbnb.
Right.
Everyone started vibing together. Like it was fun, but we got there Friday night. We competed Saturday, and we came there for a reason to win it all. So during the whole tournament, we're blowing out teams, winning by like 30, winning by 20, like destroying the whole lot. We played 3 games, round robin, end up winning it all. Went to playoffs. Won our first game, I think, by like 25. Then we got to semis, won by like 20. And then the final team, we ended up playing a team called 7-Eleven, right? So this is a team from Cali, like from the States. They came down to Toronto, kind of like they got invited. So they came down there. They had a player that played on Team USA. So his name was like, his nickname is Barbecue Chicken. Anyways, insane guy. Like, he's not the fastest, but he's so in control of his body. It's like I went to defy a couple of times, and he just made like a quick movement, and I literally tackled air. But
Mm.
anyway, so we played these guys. First half, game was going good. We were down 13-12. Got back the ball second half. We scored. Then whenever it was going back and forth, we ended up losing the game. I think it was 28-22. So lost by 6. Offensively, we didn't score, and they got a stop, and they ended up scoring, and then we ended up losing. So first prize was a $2,000 check. So it was one of those big checks that you get to kind of see.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a big check. Whenever you win a prize, you see one of those big checks. And
It's like those big life size checks.
yeah,
You need
exactly.
people to
So
hold it.
that's what we kind of wanted.
Yeah.
And anyways, we didn't. Yeah, exactly. So we didn't get it. We had said we got second place medals. So like in my head, I'm like, I don't even want the medal. Why are you giving me a medal for? I don't want a medal right now. But anyways, I
Where
was
the money
very
at? Where the money at?
yeah,
I hear you. I hear
exactly.
you.
I was very frustrated. I'm gonna fix my lighting here.
That is fair.
But
That
yeah.
is fair.
Anyways, kind of just talking about like I don't like participation medals and stuff like that. Any medal, second place, third place, all. I want first place, or I don't want anything at all.
Yeah, yeah, that's honestly. I mean, listen, if they give you a cash prize for second place, you take it for sure. But I mean,
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'll take that.
I'll
I'll
take
be
that money.
smiling after I take that.
Second place. All right. I hear you. I hear you. I mean, listen, like I said, once you get to double digits in age, like once you hit 10 and up, participation trophies, man. Anyways. So let me ask you. So you talked about the infantry, right? Obviously, the team you're playing on. Um, I want to ask you. Obviously, this year, Kevin Wife is not the quarterback of that team. You mentioned Dan Lazara is right. Dan's taking over as a QB. What has the experience been like for you so far playing with Dan as a quarterback?
So I've been playing with Dan for the past like 10 years, right?
Mm.
I kind of made the switch to KGP, and then now I'm with infantry again. Um, again, like the experience like this year is a bit different. We have new players, around like everything. Um, Rory's kind of back. We kind of merged infantry and with like a bit of Montreal Magic as kind of a
Yep.
whole. But Dan's Dan, like don't get me wrong. Her last game, Dan was horrible, and he kind of knows that. Um, he played like shit. but it is. But that's it's the regular season, like this is where he kind of gets out the way, gets the chemistry going, and then we make a playoff run. And again, it doesn't matter if we go 1-9 because we're still making playoffs at the end of the day, right? All that matters is playoffs. But again, it's going well. Like I mean, we're 1-3. I think I've only been to 2 games. Yeah, I missed the first 2 when I made the last 2, but we're 1-3. I mean, we're not in panic because we're not playing the best football that we could be playing right now. If it was to a point where Dan was having amazing games and our defense just was struggling, or our defense was having amazing games and Dan was just struggling, like if both sides were completely on the same page and we're still losing games, then it would be kind of a panic mode in general, like for everybody, But the fact that kind of both sides are kind of struggling and Dan's like kind of getting his footing back. He didn't play last season, so he had a whole season off. And when you don't play for a whole season, and also if you don't play with the same amount of guys that are used to playing, it takes time to adjust, And again, he doesn't have his top receiver AJ Gomez. He's not there this season, so he has to also find that number one guy where he doesn't right now. I'm gonna assume it's probably gonna be Rory Smergent, but him and Rory are gonna have to get on the same page and kind of understand each other. So I think that's going to take maybe a couple more weeks. Rory was banged up with a groin injury. He should be back now. I actually just went to a tournament with him in Toronto, and he played extremely great. So I think he should be back. He should be back. And him and Dan, as long as those two guys kind of get chemistry and they're kind of on the same page, I think Dan's going to be completely fine.
Okay. Okay. I know looking at your schedule, you have 2 big games coming up Friday. First against the Party Crashers, who are looking at the standings, right? I mean, I think they're just about a game above you. The Party Crashers are well, 1 game above you. They have 4 points. You have 2. And then Saturday, you have the Raw Dogs. Raw Dogs right now, you guys are both tied with a 1-3 record. So 2 big games coming up this weekend. And then after that, you have a matchup against the first place, the 4-0 Braves, right? So 3 big games coming up for you guys to kind of get back on track. What do you think you guys need to do to at least you go 3-0? Obviously, best case scenario, or at the very worst, go 2-1.
To be honest with you, just chemistry. Like not chemistry, but everyone's gonna have to be on the same page. We're gonna have a lot of communications. Party Crashers is a team that they do double quarterback, triple quarterback. So for us to win that game this Friday, everyone's gonna have to be on the same page, or it's gonna be a long day for us. Raw Dogs, I think. To be honest, I think we have a good matchup with the Raw Dogs. Last game we lost 16-21, but both offenses completely stall. Like I had the game-winning drive in that game where I think I got the ball midfield and I got a first completion to Isaiah for like 10 yards, and then I got 3 incompletes. So we ended up losing that game. Dan got kicked out that game. Jalen got kicked out that game. I think if they both stay in that game, we do win at the end of the day. So I think for that game as well, I think offense just has to get things going. Defense has to play the same game they played before. And then Braves, depending what type of Braves teams that we do end up seeing here, that's going to be July 5th. So that's going to just be after Nationals. So hopefully everyone's kind of healthy. Everyone's back into FPF season. This is Nationals, I think, is the 27th, 28th of that following weekend. But just everyone's going to have to be on the same page. Braves as well, too, is a team that they do double quarterback, triple quarterbacks. They like to do quick passes, get as much yards, Like, I think guys are going to have to kind of just realize that, like, you have to understand what the guy next to you is doing, and then you'll be able to play better. I think that's one of the biggest issues we have now is that everyone's just not used to each other. Like it's crazy to say the fact that basically the infantry defense is basically KGP's defense, but like it still takes a bit of time to adjust, and it's a different offense that Dan runs compared to Phil Cutler. Like Dan's more of a Hail Mary taker, and then Phil's kind of like we're driving slowly. Like Phil will take a couple, maybe like 4 or 5 minutes to score. Dan likes to score in 30 seconds, So as a defense and kind of like someone that's kind of used to maybe like chilling a bit, it's to a point where Dan gets the ball, he scores fast, and the defense is back on the field and they're kind of just trying to make a stop, where Phil kind of just takes his time, he kind of grinds it out, and then he scores, right. But you have time to kind of talk around your guys, kind of get back into focus. So the game, it changes a bit there, which is not a crazy change, but it's stuff that we kind of have to adjust.
Okay. All right.
But
Um, I was gonna say, all right. So, I mean, again, best of luck to you guys. Again, like I said, big weekend coming up for you guys. Friday, Saturday, two big games, party crashes, and then Raw Dogs. So hopefully you guys can get it. And then, like I said, and then the Braves either 3-0 or 2-1, or worst case scenario, even 1-2. Right? I mean, hopefully we'll see what happens. Uh, I want to switch over to women's for a second. I want to give a shout out to one team in particular, women's C. Sorry, my apologies. I want to give a shout out to Lioness. Lioness, so we covered them in the winter season. It was their first year. They went 0-10. They scored a total in those 10 games of 57 points the entire season for that team. So let's do the quick math here. 57 divided by 10. They scored less than a touchdown a game, 5.7 points. They gave up on the other side 313 points. So you do the quick math. They gave up 31 points a game and they scored less than a touchdown a game. Not a recipe for success, of course. Shout out to these ladies for not quitting. Shout out to these ladies for sticking with it. They finally got their first W in their FPF experience. Uh, they won. They beat actually almost qualifies as a blowout here. They beat the Rock 24-15 this past Saturday at Loyola. Now I was scorekeeping at Loyola. I did not scorekeep this game, but there was one game I heard a lot of screaming and like happy screaming, and it was. I came to find out it was Lioness getting that big W. They were up 12-0 at the half. They were outscored 15-12 in the second half. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Those ladies got their first win, a hard fought victory for them. So let's go through some of the names here. Elodie Giroux, 100 yards passing, two TDs, three INTs. There's so Brianna Terrico, so Sanders' girl. So Brianna, three catches, 39 yards. Megan Odette, four catches, 29 yards, a touchdown. Anissa DeJory, two catches, 28 yards. And then we had Sarah Maud Hamel, two catches for 4 yards, one touchdown. And then we had Zitha Benny. So I had a chance as I was watching this game. It was a couple fields over for me. They had some players that came on and made some plays on our defense. Now, is this exactly the same Lioness team that lined up and played women's three last year? Not exactly. But you know what? Doesn't matter. A win's a win. Alicia was a quarterback then. She's a quarterback now. A couple of them players are still some of the same players on the team. So again, shout out to those ladies on getting a hard fought victory. Again, going winless sucks, but that was not the case. Finally, this past weekend at Loyola, again, beating the Rock 24-50. And so, ladies, congratulations to you on a hard fought win, and hopefully win one of many more to follow.
Yeah, congratulations. They also got five INTs. I'm pretty sure that's the most
Yeah,
INTs they've
exactly,
gotten.
exactly,
Five
exactly,
INTs in the game is
exactly.
it's a lot. So yeah, congratulations to them. Hopefully they kind of keep it going. Winning their first game of the season, just it doesn't matter if it's not the same amount of if it's not the same girls. Just as a brand, right? The Lioness is a team that
Exactly.
they played
The
last
point.
season.
Yeah.
This is the season this team they're playing for this season. You know, it's their name, so it's their first team win. It's their first win as a
Yeah.
team name. You know, so
Yeah.
that means something, and it's also nice to kind of see a team that again they came in last season. They did struggle. Going 0-10 is not fun, and getting a win so earlier on in the season, it's nice. You know, they're halfway in the season. I'm sure they're looking
Oh,
to
yeah.
win a couple more games now.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. I mean, it all starts with one, right? It all starts with. Listen, I've been on teams that were winless my first year, actually my first 2 years in FPF. That is no fun at all. I went 0-8-2 my first year, and then I went 0-10 my second season. No fun at all. But you learn from it and you get better. So hopefully this team could get a couple more wins. They're taking on A-Town Black actually tonight in Lavelle, Doris. I mean, the weather again, the sun was out for a bit. Now it's not. It's really windy. Hopefully it'll hold up football wise to get a good game. I've seen, I was going to talk about A-Town Black and A-Town White. I had a chance to watch some of their games this past week, and I played Sunday in Lavelle, and I was hanging out with Tara. It's Tara Rackage, one of the head coach of of a Huntic, and I was just standing next to her. We were watching pretty much the whole game. Uh, I can't remember what they were taking on. My apologies. So I'm gonna go back and look to see who they were taking on. I apologize for that one. But anyways, I had a chance to watch both teams, and I believe they were playing also in Broussard, if I'm not mistaken, this past week. So I have it right here in front of me, the schedule. So I watched the game Come on, my computer
Yeah,
decides not
so
to work right now.
they played Run
Yeah.
Like a Girl.
Thank you. That was exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. They played Run Like a Girl at Loyola. So that was no, sorry,
That was a
wrong
lot.
team. Sorry, my bad. I'm on
No,
the
you're good.
wrong so
Yeah,
online.
so
Sorry, my apologies.
on
Okay,
Sunday,
okay,
June
yeah.
14th, they played Run Like a Girl. A-Town Black played Run Like a Girl. And then
Yeah.
on the same day, a couple hours later, A-Town White played Obsidian.
Obsidian, yeah, it's okay. So that's the game I watched, right? I watched the Obsidian game. I'm going to tell you, that game was exciting. I saw again. There's so many players in the league. I know you and I, even Ali Resurrect, can't watch every single team play. That game was back and forth, a lot of big plays. I came away. I was asking Tara, okay, so who's this player and who's that player? Some players I do know, but some I don't. Again, because there's so many players in the league. I will say the ending of the game was not the greatest for A-Town White. I don't want to throw anybody under the bus, but I'm gonna have to on this one. The quarterback for A-Town White. I'm talking about Marguerite Voyer Flores. She took a safety, which wasn't the
Wow.
final play of the game, but it might as well have been the final play of the game, right? Because the game was tied. It was tied up at 19-19, and then a late safety. She got sacked in her own end zone. You got to throw that ball away. I'm sorry, that's what it is. Led to the winning score for Obsidian, but it wasn't an exciting game to watch. There's a lot of females that really stood up to me, made a lot of big plays. There's Alexia Bilodeau and Maika Pereira for A-Town White, but even on the other side, right, there's Gabrielle Gerbolda made some plays. There was a safety in the game. I think her name is Raphael Genois Charbonneau for Obsidian. She's tall, like a lot of length, and she was making some plays as well. And as long all that to say, I can't wait. Really impressed. A lot of these ladies they were trying hard, man. They were balling. They were making some plays on both sides of the ball, and a close game, and that's all you can ask for, really. Again, ladies put on a good show. I was happy to see that one Sunday in Laval.
It's kind of you know what's crazy when teams in 5v5 take safeties because there's no grounding. So literally
Yes,
you could
exactly.
whip the
That
ball
was Tara's
anywhere
point.
you like. As long as there's one thing there is though is if you try to do a double quarterback and the ball is thrown behind your receiver and ends up hitting the floor, the ball is dead there. But other than
Yeah,
that, if
yeah, yeah,
you're a
yeah.
quarterback and there's no one behind you, and you could throw the ball anywhere you want. You could whip the ball across the field, and it's not a safety. It's no dead. It's no grounding. It's dead. So always fine when teams get sacked. I always talk to Jeff too. When Jeff takes a sack and 5v5 competitive and co-ed, whatever, I'm just like, why? Throw the ball on the floor. It doesn't make any sense. And like you also
I
see a
agree.
lot of teams, they get used to it. Like a lot of women teams, like men is not as much because we're not kind of used to the grounding situation. But women's, like when you're playing high competitive A, women's, whatever, you see quarterbacks like they do it like without it in like it's instinct.
Yeah, it's
Someone
second
gets close to
nature.
them, they just whip it on the floor, and it's
Yeah,
always interesting to see. But I always feel like, how do you take a sack? Just you can throw the ball anywhere you want, and it's not a penalty 10 yards, 15 yards.
that's
You have
what
to
I'm
worry about it.
saying. That's what I'm saying. There's never an excuse to take a safety. I'm sorry, in 5v5 or in women's. And you're right. You brought up a good point actually. So like I noticed that too. A lot of female quarterbacks I've seen right away. The second read's not there, first read's not there, second read's not there.
Just
So
throw
right
it.
in the
Yeah.
dirt. I've seen Sarah Parker do it. I've seen tons of other female quarterbacks, Sandrine Gouet. I've seen lots of Elizabeth Ashcar. I've seen them all do it, and it makes sense. If you're not getting penalized, then why not do it, right? And you are right. With the guys I know growing up, right, from playing college, university, intentional grounding. Like you see the quarter, you see the official do this even in the
Yeah.
NFL, right? That's intentional grounding. You can't do that, and it's ingrained in at least most guys. To I
Mhm.
can't throw the ball away. I saw, and actually one of the games that score kept on the weekend on Tuesday in Broussard. I think it was Jeff actually. He threw the ball. There was no receiver within 20 yards of the ball. And for some reason, it didn't get called intentional grounding. I was scorekeeping the game, standing next to Leo Gervais, the head ref, and he goes, "The reason why it wasn't intentional grounding is because he wasn't under pressure." The rusher was coming, but the rusher tripped up a little bit and was at least 5 to 6 yards away from Jeff, who had rolled out to the left. And Jeff threw 100% threw the ball away. There was no receiver within 15, 20 yards of the ball. And Leo told me because there was no rusher barreling down on Jeff, it's not intentional grounding. And I say that's the biggest load of junk I heard in my life. That's still intentional grounding.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
That's what I meant. I'm thinking of Leo. I meant I I've heard Leo and a lot of refs say it. He has to be in distress. The quarterback has to be in
Yeah,
distress
yeah,
where
yeah.
uh, for them it's a call where they have to feel like he's in a panic, and that's the reason why he did that. But again, that's stupid. How I see it, if the
They're
ball,
still
if
throwing
you're
the
not
ball
throwing the
away.
ball close to the receiver, it's the flags
Yes,
in the air right away.
100%.
Everybody knows that. Again, I only ref once this year, but if I ref again, maybe I will this season. Trust me, that if you want to call for intentional guarding, I got you. I'll
Five
definitely.
goals. There you go. 100%. 100%. It doesn't take the fact that he's still throwing the ball away to nobody, whether he's under pressure or not. But that's you and me using common sense. I love Leo, but it is what it is. Um,
um, Sorry, Brent. Just last question. Since we were kind of in women's C, do you think The Rock should be in a kind of a panic right now? Because
yes.
again,
Yeah,
we're
yes.
mid season, right? They're
Yes.
0-4. They've lost versus technically one of the bottom teams. Like, is it panic
Yes.
mode?
Yeah, 100%. I don't know if you heard me. I said yes about 5 times. Yes, they should be in panic mode. They lost by 9 to Lioness. Again, this is a better Lioness team than last winter. But again, the Rock, they have some veterans. They shouldn't be losing this game. They have a rematch with the Rock. Luckily for them, coming up this Saturday at Loyola, so the same place where they lost last week. They're playing once again, actually on the same field. So the Mason F side field one. So that'd be a good rematch. So try to come out to watch that game. I'll be there on Saturday. But then after that, they have the Valkyries to wrap up June, and then they have A Town Black, and then Run Like a Girl, right? So these are some really big games coming up for The Rock again, because we said right now, looking at the standings, I know quick place to be back in a second. Looking at the standings, this is silhouette of Quaysie. They're looking at the standings. They're 0-4 right now, right? And we look at again 7 teams in this division, only 6 to make the playoffs, right? So they're in danger, especially with that loss to Lioness. If they lose to Lioness again this coming weekend, it might be a wrap for The Rock this season. So ladies of The Rock, it's on you. Get your act together. Get some W's. You lost to the Lioness once. It happens. You got to not only beat them now, but don't forget the point differential too, right? I mean, they beat you guys by 9 points. You got to at least beat them by 10 now to have the upper hand in that head-to-head matchup between Lioness. So, Rock, we're calling you out right here on the podcast. Get your act together and come out and get the W here this Saturday.
Yes, sir. Do you want to go to women's B?
Yeah, sure, sure. So,
Um,
I
yeah, go to women's B. One thing I always laugh, right? Because I always see for women's B, I always see the merge, right? And the merge. Whenever I think about the merge, I'm thinking about the merge, the co-ed team,
yeah, Mark Andre and team, 100%. Same here. Same
yeah.
here.
And I'm always just like the merge. I'm like, what's the merge doing at women's B? But again, the merge is it's 2 teams mixed together. As we had the Turf Titans and She Sparks, they end up merging a team together. So now they're called the merge,
Yeah.
which is kind of makes sense. But I'm always interested to see. They're doing not so bad, right? They kind of made that jump into women's B. They used to be playing women's C.
Yeah.
They made the jump to women's B. They're 3-2.
Yeah. Talented.
Not too bad, It could be way worse. They've won some good games. They actually just beat the originals, right? They beat the originals
I score kept that
24
game.
to 6. So you
Yeah.
can let's talk about it a bit. Originals right now are the top leading team. They're 4-2, so they knocked out the number one seeded team. That's still number one, but that's a big win for them.
Yeah, 100%. So like I said, I had a chance to score keep that game. Again, the merge, I know I kind of half jokingly called them out for stealing the name from the original merge team because, like I said, Marc Andre Reeves and all those guys and girls as well, right? They're the original merge, but hey, they came out and they won the title proudly, right? 2 wins in a row. 3 wins out of the last 4 games, right? They have a really suffocating defense, does the merge. So let's go to this game 24-6 over the originals. Again, the originals I talked about the week before, right? They laid a beat down on the Wolfpack. So obviously the originals were trying to get another win, second win in a row here. But yeah, it didn't work out so well. Sarah Maud Hamel, I mentioned her earlier, she's quarterbacking this team here. She was throwing some dimes. Finished 18 of 31, 210 yards, 2 INTs, but 4 touchdown passes. Zitha Binney got 2 TDs. Tabitha Thomas, friend of the show, she caught 2 TDs. Like she did a good job of spreading the ball around. We see 8 catches for Samara Fantasako. Pardon me, Sacco. 8 catches, 81 yards. I've had a chance on to watch the last couple of seasons, and I gotta say, I'm impressed. Like she's one of the breakout stars, I think, in women's period here in FPF. So that's a name to look out for. I think it won't be too long before she's playing women's A or women's one, right? She's a really fantastic player. I like watching her play. She's good. Shout out as well, Brianna Taracone, 4 catches, 48 yards for her. Veteran, obviously, she knows what she's doing. And again, that defense, right? They got 3 INTs. So Fata Sacco had an INT, Cindy Canuel and Shawnee Mitch, again, friends of the show. She had an INT. I gotta say, Cindy Canuel as well. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. I've seen her play obviously with she's part of the whole block party crew, as are all these ladies. She's physical. She has some size on her, like she's kind of a thick girl. She has some height and she's physical and she's fast. I like the way she plays, so she had a good game as well. And that defense was just swarming the originals. Again, the originals, they had some ballers, right? Marielle Parody, I gotta say, one of the top players, not just in female, not just in the female division, women's part of me, but just in FPF in general. Like every time I watch her play, she makes big grabs. She's tall, she's long, she's fast, she's tough. Right, she had a big game, 11 catches, 96 yards, 1 TD. I came away impressed when I watched her against the Wolfpack. I was even more impressed in this game because she made a lot of plays. The merging again with that suffocating defense. They knew the ball was coming to her on big plays, and they still couldn't stop her. And Maggie Gervais had a solid game as well, too, 7 catches, 66 yards. Jayla Fabe made a bit of an impact. Sandra Seguin made an impact as well. But again, just that defense, they got in the way, right? They deflected the pass. They got a couple of INTs, and just the originals just had no answer for them.
Yeah, no, I really like the merge too. Again, it's a
Yeah,
team that I
yeah.
think they're just gonna get better every year. I think every season. I think every season they're just gonna get better and better. I like the fact that they kind of made that merge, together, and they kind of
Yeah,
said,
yeah.
"Listen, we wanna
Pun
if we
intended.
want to compete versus better teams, and we want to get ourselves out of Division C because it's to a point where Division C wasn't for them. Like it's for newer teams. It's also for younger
Yeah,
teams.
yeah,
These are
yeah.
more the older ladies where they're taking a bit more serious. It's always a fact where and I kind of see it a lot where I'm coaching right now. I coach.
They're
You guys
having
hear me?
some.
Sorry, my connection keeps losing.
Yeah. Okay, we got you. We got you. We got you.
Lost connection.
Okay. Okay, so anyways, I guess so to speak to finish off Quaysie side again, their veteran team decided to go up in a division, not to be in C, which makes sense. And so far, right? I mean, you look at them, right? They've come up, they've been impressive, and I think it was a good decision for them to have this team come together and move up. Right, they're in fourth place right now, 3-2 record. They're tied actually for second with points wise with Hebu, who are 3-1, and Supernova, who I'm going to get to in a second, who are 3-2. Right, so the merge in the mix there, tied for second place. They're both 2 points behind the originals, who now with that loss dropped to 4-2. Right, so if you're the merge, you knocked off the number one seed. Now we'll have to see what happens. Will they play again? Actually, let me check this out right here. Will the merge play the originals later this season? Merge originals, merge originals. No, they don't, unfortunately. Looking at at least the originals, they finished with Hebrew, the sorority, Cavaliers. Actually, the Cavaliers twice on back to back weeks here, week 10 and 11 to finish off the regular season, at least for them. Looking at the merge, their schedule going forward, the merge has the Wolfpack that's going to be coming up this Saturday at Loyola, so that should be a good game. They actually had the Wolfpack back to back, so they have Saturday, this coming Saturday, June 20th, and then they're off. They have a couple weeks off. They're back in action in week 8. That's going to be July 11th, once again against the Wolfpack. Both games will be at Loyola. And then they have Supernova July 18th. And then July 27th, they have the sorority. And they finish off actually back to back against the sorority. So first on Monday, July 27th, and then regular season finale on Sunday, August 2nd. So again, just looking at the upcoming schedule for both those teams.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Sorry about that. My connection's pretty bad right now. The weather is disgusting out here.
Yeah.
And yeah, so it keeps the connection. I keep losing Wi-Fi and getting Wi-Fi. It's really weird. But back to our kind of say, I kind of heard what you're kind of saying. And the thing I was kind of saying is that these ladies kind of like they know their potential, right? And I feel like they realize that Division C is not for them anymore. But they kind of have to. they needed an extra step to go in Division B. So I think the merge together between them and She Sparks and Turf Titans was a great thing. Because I see this team just being better and better every single season. And I'm not saying maybe it'll take them a while to get into Division A, but it's they have to start somewhere, right? So
Yeah. It's a slow
I
build.
think
Slow build.
this was a great move by them, and I'm hoping for the best for them, and they're just going to get better and better each season going on.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. Do you want to go quickly to so I scored kept Supernova against the sorority. First want to apologize to both teams. So I played right before this game started. So I finished my game, went a little bit over. So I had to make my way over to the field. Someone was scorekeeping for me for the first 10 minutes or so. Then I took over. That person, I gave them back the iPad after, and it was just kind of I wasn't using my iPad. I was using someone else's iPad, and the iPad was kind of passed around between different staff members, and the game got uploaded about a day later than it should have. But anyways, it got updated, and I couldn't control that because I didn't have the iPad at that point. But apologize to those ladies. But yeah, so scorekeeping this game, Supernova just blew out the sorority, 32-6. Clarence me show. We've talked about it briefly on the podcast. I believe last week, if not the week before, but she was phenomenal in this game. 214 yards, 5 TD passes, 1 INT on 20 at 27 passing. She's just spraying the ball everywhere. Alexandre LeBlanc had 2 TDs for her team. Catherine Denot Cardinal had a TD. Rosalie Major had a TD as well. They got the ball in the hands actually 7 times for 89 yards to Amy Duell. And then Ray Mason, I'm a fan of her. She only got 2 passes for 16 yards, but the speed and the size that she has, uh, teams have to make sure she's covered deep, and that opens things up for other receivers as well, and vice versa. The other receivers open things up for her. Defensively, so Major got an INT in that game, and they got a sack from Dino Cardinal. So then a big W for them. Switching sides to sorority. Sorry, my mouth is a little dry. Switching sides to the sorority. I'm going to try that again. Catherine Shinnick had 130 yards, 1 TD. Her touchdown went to Alexandria, pardon me. I hope I'm getting this right. Hold on. Zachariasis, I think is how you pronounce it. Anyway, she had the 1 TD. My apologies for the sorority. They tried their hardest. I mean, they got a sack and an INT from Alexia Bilodeau. And there was no quitting these ladies. There was no quitting the sorority, and they were trying their hardest. There was a couple of plays they left on the field, unfortunately for them, but they were trying hard they couldn't keep up with Supernova. Again, getting the 32-6 victory. So now I'm looking at it here, right, for Supernova. That win was kind of big for them because right now that win keeps them in third place right now. Right? It was tied for second, really, actually. So they're tied with Hebrew. Hebrew 3-1, Supernova 3-2, and Emerge we talked about earlier 3-3, right? So again, they're tied for second place. For sorority though, that's a big loss because they had a chance to jump into six. So right now they're tied for six in terms of points with the Cavaliers, both for 1-3, right? So you look at the playoff look for this division, right? 6 teams get into the playoffs, so one team doesn't make it. So right now it looks like it might be either the Cavaliers or sorority. So I have to wait and see what happens. I mean, for the sorority, a big loss for them, a blowout loss, right? So after this, they take on the Hebrew this coming Saturday at Concordia. And then they have the originals after that, and then they take on Supernova again. So the schedule actually, and after that, it's the Hebrew. So the schedule does no favors right now for the sorority, right? So they're gonna have to find a way to try and get another W here on this season, right? Because the only one they have is over the Wolf Pack, and they don't play the Wolf Pack again the rest of the year. So then they're gonna have to figure something else specifically on offense.
Yeah, especially the fact that the one loss they do have is the Cavaliers. The big loss they do have also the one win the Cavaliers have is against the sorority, so that might come down
Yeah,
to both these
yeah,
teams kind of
yeah,
struggling. At the end of the day, say
exactly.
82-82, and it's going to be a tiebreak, and the Cavaliers do have the tiebreak versus the sorority. So that was a big win for the Cavs to winning that game, even though they didn't realize it now. But going back to it when it comes down, when we're in week 9, week 10, that game might have been really big.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. Let's go over to women's one. I know you wanted to touch on a couple things here in women's one.
Yeah. So women's one again, super interesting. We have the Birds right now, kind of leading the pack. We have Purple Heat that's 3-2. We have Knicks that are undefeated at 2-0, but they've only played 2 games so far. So that's kind of like interesting to see. because I think they're probably one of the better teams in this pool. Chaos at 2-3, Blue Blood at 1-2, and then you have Sparks that are 0-4 that are definitely struggling. I'm kind of surprised this team went Division A. I think this team would have been fine going Division B. Again, they have only scored 19 points for, and they have allowed 102. So again, it's a struggle. You're averaging about 5 points per game, which is, if you think about it, that's crazy to say. If I tell you I play on a team and I play on a flag football team and we average 5 points per game, you're kind of gonna look at me and think I'm crazy. So again, I think for them, they're gonna have to really start winning some games or at least scoring some points. They played 4 games, kind of said. She Sparks. They played Purple Heat. They lost by 27. They played Birds again, lost by 14. They played Blue Blood, lost by 25, and they played Chaos, lost by 17. But again, it's not like the teams that they're playing are bad. All these teams are super good, especially their defenses. So I kind of understand the struggle that they're having, but the score to have an average of 5 points per game is it's not acceptable. I don't think.
Yeah, I mean you're right. Again, in retrospect, I'm sure if they could turn back the hands of time, they would have went down to the lower division as well into women's B. But it is what it is. I'll always give them credit for trying women's A, right? You want to try yourself against the best. Just hasn't worked out so well. But again, there's still some time left, right? There's some time to turn it around. Hopefully they will. But again, the hill is going to get that much harder to climb for the Sparks, right? You're looking at their upcoming schedule, right? Again, sitting at 0-4 right now. They have Blue Pound coming up this Saturday at Loyola. Then they got Knicks. Then they got Chaos. And then they got Knicks again before finishing out with Birds and Purple Heat. Uh, I'm gonna be shocked if they get more than one win. I think the only team they might have a chance, and I'm going to use that word lightly, is Blue Power. Because again, Blue Power, again, they're 1-2, right? And let's be honest, Blue Power. I mean, yeah, they have some talent on their team, but they're not one of the top 4 teams in this division.
No, but their
So
defense could be. They have a
yeah,
solid.
that is true.
They have a solid defense. That's one thing I have to give up, Bud. Is their defense is legit, and
Yep.
they've always relied on their defense. Their quarterback, again, right now they don't. I mean, Erica Maganin, she's not their
Virginia.
usual quarterback, right? So I feel like if
True.
Emmanuel
Oh,
Brassard,
Brassard. Yeah, yeah. She was there. Be different. Yeah,
if she was there for she only played one of those games, and I'm assuming the game that she didn't
yeah,
play, they won.
yeah.
If she was there, this team is completely different. I think this is probably, but by defense wise, I think because they've so used to be playing with each other, I think this is one of the top defenses, just because the chemistry that they have within each other, and when everyone's there, I think they're a deadly force. So even at that, I don't think Sparks have a bit, like we're kind of saying, if you're going to choose one team, this is the Blue Bloods, the team to do it. Offensively, yeah, but defensively, I don't see them scoring. To be honest, they already played week 2 and Sparks scored 0 points, and that's
True.
because Blue Bloods
True.
defense is good. Like I watched them
I
play.
I hear you.
You have Andre Lajoie
Yeah,
and Sarah
Audrey Lajoie.
Bush,
Yeah, for sure. I hear you. Sarah
two
Babish.
solid two solid defenders, and I got to play co-ed with both of these girls,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
they're legit, So it's scary times for Sparks,
I
but
hear you. You're not wrong. You're not wrong at all. And I've seen Sarah play. I've seen Audrey play. Even like Marina Scalzo Crescent, okay, only one gameplay, but I've seen her play as well. Julia Paradis, Robert as well. I've seen a lot of these females play. I'm just saying, out of all the remaining teams they have left on the schedule, I'm not saying they could beat Blue Power because they haven't already, but I'm saying if you have to pick a team who they maybe can beat out of that list of teams who I went through, this would be the one team. But do I think they can do it? Maybe, and maybe at best is what I'm thinking. But I could be wrong. I could be. I hope I am. But
well,
I mean,
we're
again,
gonna
we'll
we
see what
get to
happens.
find out this Saturday, right? So they play this Saturday, week 5, Saturday, June 20th
Uh,
at 1 p.m. at Loyola. So I'm assuming, I think you're going to be around for that game. I think you're doing field
yes, I
2.
will be. There's a chance I might be scorekeeping that game actually, so I'm
Oh,
going to be
there you
interested to
go.
see
You get
how
to
that one shakes. So again, so listen, we'll call it out here, right? 'Cause you just dropped that little teaser, right? So you're saying yeah, this weekend at Loyola, like you said, right? It's going to be yeah, blue powder. going up against the Sparks. And it's going to be the 1 p.m. game, right? And on the Mason F side. So I should decide that I'm on. I think actually I will be. I'm pretty sure. I mean, I can figure how the fields are laid out. I don't have it in front of me. It's on my phone. I think I'm going to be the scorekeeper for that game. So I'm going to call it out right here, right now. Sparks, Blue Powered. Let's go, ladies. I want to see a great game. Sparks, can you score? Can you show up and score some points? That's what I'm waiting to see here. Quaysie pretty much saying that you guys have no chance to get in the W. I'm going to give you guys a little bit of hope because it's all you need. You got to show up and play the game on the field, right? So hopefully you ladies can come out and score some points. Looking at Blue Power, right? I mean, you ladies want to separate yourself in the standings from this team. Well, you have a good chance to do so going up this Saturday head to head. Sparks and Blue Power should be a good showdown.
Yeah, I'm also interested to see Knicks versus Birds. That's going to be happening Sunday, June 21st at
Yeah.
8 p.m. in Laval. So I think that's also going to be a good game. I think that's going to test the Knicks right now. They're 2-0. They haven't played the most games. They beat Purple Heat by 8, and they destroyed Chaos by 20.
Well,
I
yeah,
think right now
exactly.
Birds is a team that they've been playing good. There's a reason why they're 4-1. Birds versus Knicks, I think that's going to be a very good game. To kind of see who's the top of the top teams right now for Women's A.
100%. Let's touch on this for a second. So again, Birds, like you said, blow a victory over Purple Heat, 32-7, like you said, right? Looking at here, Clarence Michaud, 5 TD passes, 204 yards. I want to say, so Eunice Fotso, I've seen her play going back to last winter, was the first time I saw her. Phenomenal. Phenomenal. 6 catches, 115 yards, and 1 tutty. And then Alice Lucy, again, one of the players of the week, right? I talked about earlier, right, with the Birds. This week she had 6 catches, 55 yards, 4 touchdowns. Yes, 4 touchdowns. So those two ladies has dominated Purple Heat. They came out, they were fantastic. Futso even had an INT to go along with 3 tackles and two pass deflections on defense. They got another INT from Lorianne Bouchard. They got a sack from Sofia De Loretto. This defense came to play. Clara Baudouin, again, solid quarterback. We've seen her play a lot here in FPF over the last couple of years. Only 7 points, right? With Purple Heat. Abigail Perot got the TD for the team, and that was it, right? And they look at their lineup, right? Lorianne Beauchamp, Mathilde Renault, Tamara Boulanger, right? Florence Beaulieu Clement. They have players and Perot, right? They have players with this Purple Heat lineup, I should say, pardon me. And they got blitzed, and they couldn't handle it. They got beat down again, 32 to 7. That's an ugly loss for Purple Heat. So I'm wondering now, like, where did they go from here, right? Purple Heat, their upcoming schedule season play well. They're playing Blue Power. I should know that game should happen already. So my apologies. They're taking on the Birds actually. So they have a rematch with the Birds that's coming up week 7 on July 5th. So right now, for Purple Heat, they got a little bit of a bye going on, right? So they have a bye week. They're off pretty much 2 weeks, and they're back at it once again against the Birds. So we'll have to see if this rematch taking place also in Laval on Sunday, July 5th is going to be a little bit closer than what we saw this past Sunday in Laval.
Yeah. One also thing to also mention, Purple Heat's missing some few players, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think Eldry Fournier, she's on Team Canada. I think Tamara's on Team Canada. Lena is on Team Canada. Anne Frederick, I think, is on Team Canada. Florence Berlot Clément is on Team Canada. So I think they're missing like 3 or 4 women when they lost versus Purple Heat, 32-7. And then the game that was supposed to be played,
Yeah,
I
they
think
played.
last
They
week,
played.
the game. I think what happened there was I don't think they're able to fill a team because most of their players are away at camp for Team Canada. So I think it just got rescheduled, from what I believe.
Well,
Um,
okay, so you said that they're missing Florence Beaulieu Clement. You said,
for Purple Heat,
yeah,
for
Purple Heat.
I would want to say that I know they're
You
missing.
said
I
they're missing
think
some
they're
players
missing maybe 2 or 3 girls on Purple Heat.
because some of the
I'd
names you
want,
mentioned played in the game. Like you said, like Tamara Boulanger, right?
yeah. Did she
Yeah, she
play in the
played.
game or is she just there?
She played. No, she played. She had 2 catches for 25 yards. Beaulieu Clement had 1 catch for 29 yards. Yeah, they played.
Okay, well, I believe they're missing some players from what the
Morgana
roster
Falls there.
says.
Okay. All
But
right. Either way, again, look, at this point, in Women's Day, you're going to be missing some players, right? And there's tons of ladies you can call on to play.
yeah,
Again,
for sure.
32-7 is still 32-7, right? I hear you. I hear what you're saying, though. I hear what you're saying. Um, so I just wanted to touch quickly on, so yeah, Chaos getting whooped, like you said, like 33-13. Now, see, I'm disappointed because I was looking forward to this game, right? So, like, veteran Knicks squad, right? I mean, you have Athena Ryan, who's been in the league for a long time, and Nick Benalil, Maria Manseri, right? A young, really good receiver, Lara Zuka. Shout out to her, by the way. I'm trying to get her on the podcast again. We gotta work on the timing. I know we talked about this before we went there. Just the time we're filming these in the early afternoon now, which is great for us. Just getting guests, it's another story. But when we go back to a later filming schedule, Lara will come on along with a number of other players as well. But again, Christophe Jumel, right? Leticia and Galo Constance Millar, right? There's players on this Knicks squad, right? And of course, we talk about chaos, right? Allison Sobo, just Gigi, Emma Townsend, Aslan, Coralie Leduc, so on and so forth, right? The list goes on. And I gotta say, like, I mean, Allison had two TD passes, only two INTs. Two INTs is not the end of the world, but it's just their offense couldn't get it in gear. I mean, this is saying here at least it was a 7-6 lead for Knicks at halftime, and then Knicks proceeded to outscore their opponents 26-0 in the second half. So of course that math makes no sense if it's a 33-13 win. But again, 20-point loss to Knicks. Is Knicks the better team? I don't know about that. I mean, individually, I mean, it's a toss up. You could take Lara, you could take Gigi, you could take Emma, you could take Anouk, right? Maria's a solid player. So is Coralie Leduc. Lemy is obviously one of the captains, the defensive leader of this team. She contributes here and there on offense. But I mean, uh, Constance is just as good, and players. I mean, Knicks has a bit more depth, right? Players like Leticia and Galu, Shelly Grenier, and Christophe Jumel. I guess I'll say the Knicks has the deeper roster. I will say that, but do they have better players from top to bottom than Chaos does? No. Although I will say for this game, Knicks has the ability to make more rotations than Chaos does because Chaos only had 6 players for the game. But I don't know. I just came away disappointed. Like I really thought this would be a heavyweight showdown, and it looks like one team kind of showed up and the other didn't.
Well, I think it's more around the lines that the Knicks were able to finish and Chaos weren't. Because I wasn't at this game, so I'm kind of just going based on what the scorekeeper put.
Yeah.
Chaos had 6 first downs.
Hmm.
Knicks only had 4, so it means they got. I'm assuming they got a couple big bombs from Lara, as she scored. I think her stats are actually ridiculous this game. I think she went 9 for
No,
112
she
or
she had 5 catches, 121 yards and
112.
2 TDs.
Yeah, so exactly. So I'm assuming those were some of them were kind of bombs. The fact that she had 2 touchdowns in that way, but I feel like Chaos just struggled because if they have 6 first downs, right, that means you were pretty much close towards the end zone. It seems like Allison just wasn't able to punch it in. She still had
Yeah.
40. She had 41 passing attempts. So
Hmm.
again, that's a lot of passing attempts. And it seems like she just wasn't able to score, or again, maybe her team wasn't able to score. I think that was the biggest issue regarding this game. As Athena, was completely different. She went 18 for 24. So I'm remembering the stats in my head. I'm trying to find I'm trying to refine the
Yeah.
game, but yeah, she went 18 for 24 for about 268 yards. I want to say something around. I'm gonna pull it up right here.
Yeah, but
Uh,
yeah. She went. Athena Ryan went 16-24 for 282 yards, five
Yeah, 82
TDs,
yards,
one
5 TDs,
INT.
So it just kind of goes to
Right.
show that she got a couple of her passes were probably walk-in touchdown, maybe a 40 bomb here or 30-yard bomb here, where she didn't really have to struggle as much getting to the red zone and scoring. Where Allison probably got a first down, and then she had four plays to score where she wasn't able to score. So that kind of just goes to show where the first half they scored 13, the second half they scored 0. So they are moving the ball, they just weren't able to finish. So I think they kind of just have to make sure they kind of change, maybe play calling a bit, kind of maybe change things up because it seems like Knicks maybe adjusted well into the second half where they're able to kind of stop some of the plays like Chaos did in the first half, where they weren't able to do in the second half. Where I think that's more maybe coaching and maybe just a bit of experience, where Allison's maybe more used to teams not adjusting in women's too, where she kind of keep doing what she was doing and they're able to capitalize. Where when it comes to second half, where if they take away what you're doing the first half and you can't do the second half and you still continue to try to do the second half, it doesn't work.
Well, I'll tell you, so it's going to poke a hole in our argument for a second. So looking at the touchdowns here, so yeah, there were two long touchdowns. One was a 25-yard touchdown. I believe that was to Lara Zuka. She had a 45-yard touchdown in the second half. In the first half, there was a 25-yard touchdown here. It wasn't by Lara, actually. Lara had like a 4-yard touchdown. There's a 25-yard one early. I'm trying to see where I found it again. Anyways, not all the touchdown passes were long. And this isn't what I'm thinking too out of this game, right? So you go back to the stats, right? Knicks was in the red. Knicks went 5 for 5 in the red zone,
Okay.
right? Which would suggest that they were 100% in the red zone, right? Whereas Chaos was 2 for 3. So it looks like there's more one quarterback who tried to go deep and just wasn't successful at doing it. And it looks like that's Sobel, at least in this game. And where Athena Ryan, when she was more kind of taking chunks, she does like the air out the ball too. And she has a really nice spiral. But I think it was more of a thing where one team just got to the end zone more than a red zone, pardon me, more than the other. And again, one team went 5 for 5, the other went 2 for 3. Also, sorry, I just want to give a shout out to I didn't mention her name before, Delphine Barrow, who had 2 TDs for the winning side in this matchup as well. But again, I don't know. I'm just thinking again. I expected this like to see 33 by one team. I expected that to see 13 by the other. Not so much. I thought it'd be a much closer game, but go down to the wire. Knicks. So they followed that one up. So Knicks has a big game against the Birds coming up on Father's Day this coming Sunday. That's going to be at Lavelle at 8 p.m. So Knicks and Birds going at it this Sunday, and looking at Chaos. Chaos, their next game is going to be against Blue Pound, but that's going to be their off this week actually. So that's going to be all the way in week 7 on July 5th. So Chaos have a bit of a couple weeks or so to kind of sit and stew with this loss and hopefully come out and with a W against Blue Pound on July 5th.
Did you score keep any
Over.
of Division F, E1, E2, E1, D2, E1?
I did a game on Tuesday night. It was the Rosemary Rhino Pills. They took on the Stables. So it's kind of an interesting game. I mean, it wasn't it wasn't a game of the year candidate, but it was still a good game to watch. It was a fun game to watch. Kind of went down, and it started off like back and forth. Now, I'm just gonna get to bring up the boss score here for a second, so I can remember what happened. Again, I score kept a million games over the last couple of days here. Yeah, so it was a 30 to yes, it was exciting. 30-25 win by the Stables over the Rosemary Rhino Pills and that one. So Devin Kreutzer, again, solid quarterback. I like his deep ball. Went 20-29, 207 yards, 4 TDs in that one. His number one target was Cedric Fisk-Castle, who caught the game-winning touchdown. He had 3 TDs in that game to go with 9 catches for 90 yards. Kind of not a one-man show on offense, but he did a lot of the damage.
Okay.
Significant damage, I should say. The defense was good. They got Cedric Fisk, Castle got an INT, Daniel Herrera got an INT as well. They got a sack from Eric Farge. On the other side for Roseman Ronald so Chaz Pizzanelli. I remember seeing this guy when he first came into the league. Now he's a quarterback now. Went 12 of 21, 157 yards, 4 TDs, 2 INTs. So he was a bigger guy when he got into the league. Kind of that I talked about him a while back, kind of a tight end, but playing receiver. He lost some weight. He's looking really athletic, really smooth. He can run with the ball, but he's playing quarterback now. We're always told the greatest, no, but he's getting better. Beginning of the game wasn't as good. Kind of settled himself down, came out was a lot better in the second half. 6 points first half, 19 points in the second. So he came out, he kind of settled things down for his team. Some decent receivers, Samuel Terra, Dante Tarico was on the team. Alex Lassard as well made a couple of plays. They made a couple of mistakes that came back to bite them. There were some drops, there were some bad throws, and miss INTs as well on offense. But again, I came away thinking, okay, the Rosemary Rhino Pills, we've talked about them before on the podcast, but I hadn't seen them play that much. But they got some athletes, and I think just a bit more a bit working on the timing just a little bit more for some of their offense will really help them out in the big way. Again, they push the Stables to the limits, but the Stables were able to make that big play. Basically, they had a chance to the Roseman Rhino Pills to make a goal line stand to end the game. And I believe it was fourth down. Like I think it was the fourth down. Did Fitzcastle? Yeah. Cedric Fitzcastle got the winning touchdown on the last play of the game. A 3 yard pass. Basically, Fitzcastle, if you don't know him, he's a long receiver. I know his brother, I think, played U of M. I think he played college ball as well. Quarterback just tossed the ball up into the air, and the receiver and Fitzcastle just jumped over the defender and made a touchdown winning grab, fell down to the turf, held on to the ball. Good grab by him. Shout out to him, by the way, winning the game for his team. But again, it started off wasn't the greatest game. It was 12-6 at halftime for the Stables and went down to the wire. Big game winning drive for the Stables to get the W.
The Staples is also a legit team, So the fact that the
Yeah.
Roseman Rhinos were able to kind of keep up with them and kind of make it a game, it is interesting. It does mean something because the Staples is a team where I want to say they played Division F or E, or was it D? When's the last season that this team? I know they went pretty far. Um, Past season Stables. So the last time they played was spring. Oh, maybe that was
They
just
played in the winter. They played in the winter. I remember seeing him. It was a different quarterback though in the winter. It was David Mather was the quarterback in the winter.
okay. Well, anyway, it's a team where they kind of go usually pretty far. It's a well-based team. They play well together. So the fact that Roseman Rhinos were kind of able to make it a game, like it's still me. Even though you lost, it still shows that you guys are up to par with one of those top teams, right? There's a reason why they're 4-1, and they're having a season that they're having this year. One team I want to talk about again, I kind of mentioned it, the Trailer Park Boys. They're kind of back. They got a big win versus Tops and Tops, improving their season to 25. Improving their season to 5-0. So a big win on them because again, we talked about Tops and Tops as well. Very solid team. They both came into this game. Trailer Park Boys were 4-0. Sorry, 3-0. 4-0, and then Tops were 4-0 as well too. So Tops moved to 4-1, and then Trailer Park Boys move into 5-0. So it's kind of interesting to see that Trailer Park Boys right now are leading command at 5-0, and kind of looking to see if they can looking to see if they could have a perfect season with the 5 games remaining. Where, to be honest with you, the 5 games that they have left, all winnable games. All winnable
Yeah.
games. I think the back end of the teams that they just kind of played against, they kind of already beat. So the top teams they already played against. So I think they beat Stables week 1. They beat Flag Dealers week 3. They just beat Tops and Tops again week 4. And then now they kind of have entered team name here. I think that should be a win. Vengeance should be an interesting game depending what type of Vengeance team you get. Robbins, no park. I think that's a win. No porking around here, and then Illegal Alien. So they're playing the kind of the bottom end of most of these teams as Robbins are 0-6, Vengeance 2-3. No poke around here 2-3. So all these teams are not to and enter your team name here 2-3. None of these teams have positive records.
Yeah.
So definitely a team that could go 10-0, and I'm pretty sure. One thing I do like about the lower divisions is that all these guys look at standings. Like I'm telling you now, they're just not showing up and they're coming to play. No, they're looking at standings. They're looking to see who they're playing against, and they're like, okay, all these teams. I'm not saying they're going to come in here thinking, oh, we're playing versus a shit team, but they're coming in like, okay, well, guys, we definitely like. It's the back of their head now. Okay, we could go 10-0. We kind of the first 5 games of the season were not easy, but we got it over with, and now we're playing the easier back end of our schedule.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that is what it is. I mean, just be careful when you look at the schedules, right? You shouldn't be schedule watching all the time. It's really about who's in front of you and who you're playing. But again, that's something that these younger teams will learn a bit more as time goes on, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, let's go to Division F real quick, and maybe the final 10 minutes or so. Yeah. So looking at it, we had a ton of games for week 4. So the action started Saturday and it finished off this past Tuesday in Brassard. So I'm just gonna look at it quickly. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 13, 14 games, I believe, right here for week four. So a ton of games. There's a lot of blowouts. Uh, Aladdin FC beating Click the Chapeau 36 nothing. So again, you always want to give a shout out to a team, a shout out to a team that pitches a shutout. So congrats to those boys on getting that done. I'm just looking at it real quick here. That game was this past Saturday at Loyola. Aladdin FC. Again, their defense, they got three interceptions off of Leon Kavisi. They didn't run any. Actually, no, two of them got ran back to the house. Actually, Michael Del Grosso ran two of those three INTs back to the house. So Michael Del Grosso, if he's not player of the week, I'm going to say player of the week is BS. And Michael Del Grosso, I'm going to give you his stats here. So he had, yeah, yeah, you're welcome. Michael Del Grosso pretty much beat the team by himself. As a receiver, he had four catches for 66 yards. So four catches, 66 yards, and three TDs. That's pretty impressive in and of itself. Again, like I said, he had two INTs that he ran back to the house. He also had four sacks in the game.
Oh wow.
So Michael Del Grosso had the best performance out of any player in FPF, period. Women's A, Div B, Co-ed 1, 5v5, Co-ed, doesn't matter. Michael Del Grosso had the best week of any player in FPF, period.
Yeah, the sacks kind of it jumps at you there.
Yeah. The sacks, the two pick sixes. I mean, the only thing he didn't do was throw a couple of touchdowns. He left that up to Ben Levy, his quarterback, who went 9 of 12, pretty impressive. 122 yards and four touchdown passes. So I mean, that's the only thing he didn't do was throw touchdowns or run for touchdowns. But again, ultimate performance and a great showing by Michael Del Grosso. Shout out to him and his team's 36 nothing win over Click de Chateau. Again, win by Aladdin FC. Shout out to those guys. Wow, that's impressive.
Yeah, before we kind of jump into their division, kind of just finishing with Division F. Interesting to see there's 22 teams in this division, so it's a huge division. Six teams are not making playoffs. So again, I don't think it's panic move for any of these teams. We have Gamblers 0-5, Frenzy Bush 0-4, Shark and Turtle 0-3, Fu Klee FG 1-4, Vic's Dog's House 1-4, and then Junior XL. I believe that's Keon's team if he's playing quarterback. Yeah, Keon Sars again. 1-2, right? So they haven't played many games. I don't think there's that much panic because you have perfect timing. That's 1-3, and Zion O'Clock are 1-2 with two ties. But I mean, everything is kind of approachable on winning some more games and kind of making that playoff push. One thing I do kind of want to talk about just before we leave divisions is Gamblers. We've talked about Gamblers a lot. They've been in this league. I think it's their third or fourth season of playing. They're struggling. I don't know what to tell them. I don't know exactly the issue is, but they've had last season. I think they went 1-9. They didn't win that many games, and they come back into this season. They're starting 0-5. So I'm not saying it's over. I mean, you still have 5 games. More on the back end. You're not playing. I mean, you're playing Supernanza. It's a pretty top team, but the rest of the games should be doable. You're playing Toolbox, a team that we're kind of used to. I'm sure they played against them before. Baby Sharks is also a new team, but again, not one of. Sorry, Baby Sharks is actually no. I think was Baby Sharks a new team or their team they played before. Anyways, so that being said, Baby Sharks, Sweet Bonanza is the two top teams that you're playing against. But Toolbox, Vic's Dog's House, and Cam Wins. I mean, those should be games that maybe you guys should have a better chance to win those games. But I'm surprised to see them at 0-5 right now.
I'm surprised to see that. I know they're frustrated right now. They've had a decent amount of time. Well, they've been in FPF now, not for a long time, but at least the last couple of seasons. I expected a little bit better out of them than this because now all the chemistry and timing and that stuff, they should have it down packed by now, considering that the team's been around for a couple of seasons. It's disappointing to see that they struggle so much. Again, you can just watch them play and you can tell that the whole group is just frustrated, right? I mean, again, this is a team they made their debut here in the spring season. 2025, right? So it's been a full year, right? And you figure by now they would kind of get their acts together. But sorry, winter season, pardon me. No, sorry, spring 2025. My apologies. I figured now they'd be able to scrape together at least a couple wins or just show like something at least offensively. But no, it's been a struggle. They're trying. I've scored kept their games over the last couple seasons. They're trying, but again, they're not they're not doing what they need to do at least offensively, right? I mean, you look at they scored 6 against the Jamaican bobsled team, 12 the week after against West Luke. They put up 20 in a loss to Bug Sacks, and they put up 22 in a close loss. So don't touchdown there, but then 14 against 1664 Blanc, right? I mean, it's second half of the schedule. Again, they have can win, so a first year team, Vic's Dog House. They said 2 bucks, Baby Sharks, and Sweet Bonanza. They should ideally be able to win at least one or two of those, but you never know, right? You never know which offense is going to show up for the Gamblers each week. So I mean, hopefully they can get it done, but I don't know. I will say thank you to this team though. I have one of their players on my team now, so thank you for that. But yeah, it's a tough hill to climb. Hopefully they could find a way to do it and at least get a couple wins, at least, get some feel good points, if you will, on the
Yeah.
board.
Let's go into Division
So I want
C. You
Yeah,
mind
so I just
going
want
to
to
Division?
touch real quick, super quick, tie between Devious Dogs and Zen O'Clock. We hate those
Okay.
ties, but again, the 1 point you get for those ties will come in handy. Shout out to Guillaume Perrier, buddy of mine, former U of M player. He's a ref in FPF. Guillaume clearly getting his steps in that 26-26 game. Guillaume had 4 grabs, 54 yards and a touchdown in that game. He also had an INT. But Guillaume, you have to get a couple more steps. Get a couple more steps in to get that win. It's an inside joke between me, Guillaume, and Mokan. Mokan's a chump, and Guillaume knows that. I just want to give a shout out to Guillaume. All right, my bad. Yeah, Division C. You want to hop there quick?
Yeah. So Division C, your division.
Yep.
I'm gonna ask you kind of peek. I'm gonna pick your brain a
We
bit.
shot the bed against Uncle Rico's Riders. I'll tell you that we shot the bed. We dropped 3 touchdowns to start the game. We had horrible coverage deep on defense. We were missing some guys. We had a bunch of subs, so Keon was one of them, and just yeah, we were covering grass on a lot of plays. We weren't physical enough. They were more physical than us. When we made mistakes, they took advantage of it, and rightfully so. They're a veteran team, and that's what they should be doing. We just played like hot garbage. That's why we lost on both sides of the ball. Like we dropped passes, we missed open passes, we threw bad INTs, we had blown coverages, we missed tackles. It was just from start to finish hot garbage. We responded the day later by beating Lay Innocence. Our offense came out to look real good against them. We gave up some points late on D. Again, we had a couple of we had a sub there. Shout out to Giovanni Antonucci, solid guy, solid player. Thanks for helping us out with the W. We were a lot better Sunday than we were Saturday. But the Saturday was we crapped the bed and we deserved to get beat. And a veteran team like the Uncle Rico Riders did beat us. So congrats to them. Now it kind of sucks. We're off until like I think July 5th. I would have loved to have another game this week or the week after. Not to have this bye week in the middle of the season, but it is what it is.
Yeah, at least you guys are going into the bye week being 4-1. It could be way worse where
Yeah.
you guys could be 1-4, and then you're just itching to play and trying to get some wins to try to make a playoff push. And again, Uncle Rico Rise, I'm sure they appreciate it, right? They're 1-3. It's definitely a win that they
Yep.
needed. Definitely a win that they're going to appreciate going down the long run. Going into this division, there's 13 teams in it, and only 8 make playoffs. So 5 teams are not going to make playoffs. Still a lot of football being played. Big Fat Bats 0-2. They still have 8 games to play. None in run. 0-4. 6 games played. Ball so hard. 1-5. 4 games to play. They're looking kind of scary right now. Their schedule's not looking the easiest. They play again. This division's also. I find this division's pretty well balanced. You do have the bottom teams like Nunarun and also hard. I think those are the 2 teams that are not the greatest. Late Innocence, I don't exactly know who it is, but I know Uncle Rico Riders, where it's a point where kind of saying if you guys play a bad game, you will lose. And there's a lot of teams that it happens where if you play a bad game, a team takes advantage of it and they win. I think a lot of these teams can do the same thing. I feel like if you guys played any of the teams, maybe not none runs, I don't feel that they're that good, but any of other teams, if you guys play like hard garbage, or you're saying you probably are going to lose, and then sometimes some teams go into games where they play like hot garbage and they lose, right? So it's a big division, large division. Right now you have Bear Belly Brigade still at the number 1 seed. because that loss you guys have. Then you also have Juggerbomb also undefeated. So you have two teams right now that are undefeated, looking to get some more wins. Going down to your kind of your schedule, I know you have 5 games left. You do play Juggerbombs and
Play
you
both
do
those
play
teams.
Fairbrother Brigade. So those are
Yep.
2 games that I'm interested, and the Hustlers too. I think those 3 games are going to be pretty interesting to see. And your back end, you have Big Fat Bats and None and Run. If you're looking at your schedule with the 5 games left, where do you see your team going?
I mean, if we have everybody there, which has not been the case so far this season, and if we don't shoot ourselves in the foot like we did against Uncle Rico Riders, I'm not gonna lie. Even we got a W over Cast at 12. I mean, that game, we ended up winning that game 33 to 26. That we were blowing them out. And then we started making stupid mistakes, turning the ball over and missed coverages and that, and they came back. They almost won the game. I'm not trying to toot my own horn. I got a pick in like the last couple of minutes of that game, and then we got the ball back and we ran off the clock on them because at that point, like, let's not make any more mistakes. So we got lucky to get that W as well, right? But when we play our A game, right? Like we looked good against Mengus when we had most of the roster there, and same thing against the Innocents. I like my team. I think I put together a good team, but again, it's just getting everyone together and present. We're battling some injuries and things like that right now. So right, it's just getting everyone there. I think again, Jagerbomb is the top of the top along with Beer Belly Brigade in this division. I have experience playing both those teams. I guess I have said multiple times Jagerbomb knocked us out of the playoffs last year. So yeah, we want some revenge. 100%. But we'll have to see. I mean, we'll take it one game at a time. I'm gonna give that lame expression. I'll worry about Niagara Bomb and Bill Brother Brigade when we get to them. But again, we have big fat bass coming up after our bye week, and then right after that, nothing run, right? So 2 big wins, two opportunities for our team to get 2 big wins, which we need to keep up in that top 3 in the division.
Okay, solid answer.
So
Solid answer.
I want to go to Division B real quick. So I know we're running out of time here. I scored kept 2 games in B. I did Ice Pack against KGP Dynasty, and I did Idaho Uta Pimps and Silent Ticklers. I'll get to the last game first. Idaho Uta Pimps, Silent Ticklers. That was an interesting game. Looking at it here, yeah, 48-39 for Idaho Uta Pimps. Marvin Steinberg was doing Marvin Steinberg things. Shout out to Amin Bubakar, right? Obviously, Noah Morris is a defender. He does play some receiver, but defense is his thing, right? But he came out big, man. 6 catches, 81 yards. He had 3 touchdowns for the Silent Ticklers. So he had a pretty solid showing for their squad. Jack and Tacky as well, right? He had 2 TDs in the game. They came up ready to play, but I mean, just stop Brady in an offense, right? Brady was phenomenal. 15 of 20, 250 yards, 7 TDs, right? Jordan Panetta, no slouch either, right? 272 yards and 6 touchdowns. So Steinberg had 2 TDs. They had a couple. So Nick Boucher, I had a chance. I know I was on the call, I think, with you for his championship game this past winter season. He had 2 touchdowns in the game. Manu Alarbois, who had what I think might be the catch of the year, had 3 touchdowns. One of them was Manu Alarbois. Caught a bullet over the middle from Brady O'Hannessy, and he reached up with one hand and was able to bring it in. Look, he did it with ease because that's what Manu does. But yeah, Nick Boucher, I remember calling his game. He played, yeah, Relay Rancers in Division 3. He looks like he belongs definitely in at least Division A, Division B, maybe even Division A. Again, he had 2 touchdowns in that game, made a couple plays on defense. Again, Manu with a couple of 3 TDs and an INT on defense as well. Again, great game, great back and forth game, but Idaho Utah just scored too many points and Silent Ticklers couldn't catch them. Again, like I said, I did Ice Pack against KGB Dynasty. So I had a chance to talk to Mathieu Lepage, stand-up guy, one of the best players, period, in this history here in FPF. So what happened in this game, KGP Dynasty, they were short on players. Matthew actually asked me if I could play, but I was like, well, I'm scorekeeping. I don't have my stuff with me. So luckily, he didn't have to rely on me. They got a guy, Dylan Boucher, who was supposed to play for Ice Pack. Ice Pack had I think Ice Pack had 8 guys for the game, and like, okay, well, we'll give you a guy. Yeah, because Ice Pack had looking at here, Ice Pack had 6 guys.
That's
So anyways,
7.
it's obviously 6-on-6. It's not 5v5. So KGP, we're missing a guy. So Dylan Boucher, who signed up to play, well, he was subbing. He was going to play for Ice Pack. He ended up subbing for KGP Dynasty instead. And since he didn't play for Ice Pack, it was okay for that to happen. Yeah, just it was a back and forth game. As you can see, 44-32 win by Ice Pack over KGP Dynasty. Alex Zaleski was phenomenal. 11 of 12, 227 yards, 7 TDs in that game. Talik Baptiste, another guy who plays in the lower division. I remember we called his game in the championships. He showed out and he showed out big. He had 3 TD grabs in that contest. 3 catches, 70 yards, all the one for touchdown. Samuel Langley, I believe formerly of McGill. He had about 3 touchdowns in that contest as well, and just a great showing by both squads. But again, the KGP a little short-handed. I know Matthew Lepage was not happy that. Um, I guess he kind of felt not that he felt that Dylan Boucher wasn't trying hard, anything like that. Again, the sub that was supposed to play on the other team ended up playing for him. I guess he just felt like if they had more of their if KGP was able to fill their regular roster, they would have beat Ice Pack. But unfortunately they didn't. I want to give a shout out here to as well to Jefferson Pierre. Jefferson Pierre had an INT in that game and he had 2 catches for 58 yards. This guy shut down coverage, shut down corner, put him on anybody. He'll lock them up. He went man for man with Lepage a couple of times, with the speedy Dylan Garber, Gab D'Amico Mazza. Like when Jefferson Pierre, I'd never seen him before. I heard the name, but I'd never seen him before. But when he was in coverage, this brother was making some plays. I can tell you, I was impressed.
I have a question for you. If you're Ice Pack in that situation, are you giving one of your players to KGP?
No,
Or are you
and so that's what I think Matthew was saying. Matthew or someone else that said that to me. And they're like, if this was the Braves would be, oh, too bad for you. We're not giving you anybody. TS.
I think
You know what I mean?
to
I
be
don't blame. I would
honest,
do the
you
same thing too. I'm not helping you out.
yeah, I don't think anybody's giving a player up. I think they're just like, you know what, sucks to suck. We're playing
I've seen
five.
it before. No, I've seen it before. I've seen it before where I like my early years in FPF, I've given a player to a team
Really?
where because either that or you don't play, right? Because some teams would be 4 guys, you need
Well, if
somebody,
you're
all right, we'll
four,
play
then
somebody.
if you're four, fine, because you don't want the team to forfeit. But you could they KGP could have played with 5 guys. No, like, and no
True,
disrespect
true, true.
to them or anyone. At the end of the day, Ice Pack needed to win. You know how stupid you would have felt if you gave them one of your players,
No,
they end up
100%.
winning,
Yeah, they beat you. Yeah, 100%.
and then you're just like, okay, well, now we're 0-4, and we're
Yeah,
one step
yeah,
further to making a playoff push,
yeah.
but you're already struggling this season, right? So, I mean, good on them. They gave him the player. At the end of the day, they still end up winning. The team it seems like the team did amazing. Quarterback performance from Alex, 11 for 12 is it's crazy. The
Yes,
fact
so
that you're able
phenomenal.
to throw 11 balls to score 7 touchdowns. I mean, every
Yeah,
second pass he threw was a touchdown, which is if you think about it, every second pass he threw was
yeah,
technically a touchdown, which is
yeah,
insane,
yeah.
insane if you think about it. But shout out to them, shout out to Ace Pack. It's a well-deserved win. It's a win they also really needed as well too, right? So big win for them. Again, KGP's only played 2 games. They do have. It's not going to get easier for them. They play FPS Most Wanted next. Les Petits Camarades, Campé Saint Brute, Idaho, Speed Academy, Bruins, No Regard, and Silent Ticklers. Like, it doesn't get easier until you get to like No Regard, and depending what roster No Regard has. So I mean, it's still a lot of season for them. I think that's one advantage they do get. The fact that they're the one team that always plays the least amount of games at the start, and then they kind of get to see what they need at the end, right? They did the
Yeah,
same thing
yeah, yeah.
last year in Division Two, I think it was, where they were in a better control. I think they were 4-1 at one point, but it's always nice to see what you need before you get yourself in a situation where you're like, oh, it's week 8. It's like week 8. Sorry, it's week 10. But like week 8 already passed and you lost the game. You're like, oh, I wish I could have got that game back, or I wish we kind of knew we need to score extra 2 points, or any type of situations like that.
No, 100%, 100%. First on off, I just want to give a quick shout out. I did cover Division A. It was one stop against Fins Up. Great game this past Tuesday in Brassard. One stop, 34-28 victory. They really pulled it out. First half, Fins Up was up 12. Pardon me, they were up 20-12. And in the second half, one stop outscored Fins Up 22-8. I got to give a big shout out to a buddy of mine, Ryan McNally. He was phenomenal in this contest. He had the game-winning touchdowns. He had 6 catches, 51 yards, game-winning TD in that game. He was huge on defense. He got 2 interceptions off of Will Power. And just he kind of came out of nowhere on both interceptions. Again, Ryan McNally, former DB at McGill, showing his speed and his athleticism. two huge INTs to really help his team come back in that game. And Charles Cossette as well had an INT as well as a touchdown. He was big for Littrell. That was big as well. Mathis Pilon, he had one catch, but he went for 26 yards. He had a deep route for a touchdown. This is really back and forth. Manuel Lardwell, who I talked about previous game, he's on this team as well. He had a big outing with a touchdown. Michael Kazaka, been in the league for a long time, touchdown. Simone Deschamps, Carl Aki as well. He had a big performance for his team. Again, just a really exciting back and forth for Fred. It went down to the last seconds. And again, one stop getting the victory, like I said, 34-28. They used pretty much a defensive stand to get the game. So Ryan McNally was trying to hit. They marched down the field. So Fins Up had the ball last. They marched down the field. Last play of the game, fourth down as well. Quick out route to Manuel Lar again, the master in the slot, right? Whether he's at snap or whether he's at the slot receiver position, he's a master in that short area. He did a quick out. Ryan McNally stretched out, I believe it was his right arm to make the play, and he batted on the ball, let out a big scream, and obviously his teammates rushed the field. So a big W for one stop. So now for one stop, that improves their record to 4-1, right? They're one game behind the Brent. They're tied points wise, but one game. Pardon me, they're 4-0. They're 4-1 is what I'm trying to say. Sorry, Braves are 4-0, so they're tied points wise, top of the division. ECW, they have 4 points at 2-3. Fins Up now they drop to 1-3 with 2 points. And Vultures, of course, last in the division with an 0-4 record. But again, exciting game between Fins Up and One Stop this past Tuesday in Brassard.
Interesting. We kind of remember I was kind of talking about one stop too. Like I was like, this is the year. To be honest with you, it's the one time where again Vultures are struggling. You're gonna have to knock out the Braves at the end of the day, but that's usually how most teams have to get through it. But they have a good chance. Like if one, to be honest, if I don't see one stop in the finals this year, I'll be very disappointed. Kind of confused unless Vultures make a crazy turnaround with that roster. I think right now Benny's kind of struggling with a roster and kind of having it together, but it's the year for one stop. Like if you're gonna tell me a year for one stop to kind of win it and have a chance to win it, I think this is the year for them.
I hear you. I know we said briefly ECW again. They lost week 4 was bad for them. They had 2 losses, tough ones though, right? Heartbreakers. They lost 38-33 to the Braves, and they lost 2-1 stop 28-23. So 2 losses, both by 5 points each. Vultures, again, they're 0-4, man. They came within 2 points of beating Fins Up, but they couldn't get it done this past Saturday at Loyola. This coming weekend, we have 2 games, ECW against the Vultures. So that'll take place Saturday at Loyola, and then Sunday in Laval, Fins Up against the Braves. So that'll be an exciting matchup again this coming weekend, week 5 for Division A. So yeah, I think that pretty much wraps up everything. Quickly, I know yesterday I put out a couple of questions on Facebook. One of them was, so this is female centric, these questions, or women's division centric, I should say, pardon me. Who's the fastest player right now in FPF, at least in the women's division? So we got a lot of votes for Jessica Buzzy Tappan, and rightfully so. The rusher, like Sub-Zero's not playing this year, but one of the top rushers in the history of FPF. Phoebe Gervais, so shout out to Leo. He voted on his daughter Phoebe, obviously a friend of the show, Phoebe, and she's one of the top athletes, period, in FPF. Definitely one of the fastest rushers, fastest players, I should say, pardon me. Stella the Don was voted as well, so shout out to Stella. She was voted for sure as one of the top players. I mean, obviously with the IG team and a bunch of other teams she's played on. Dakota Scott. So I mentioned her. We mentioned her, I think, last week, week before. She plays co-ed women's as well. I have seen her play. She's also a ref. She is fast. She is legit one of the fastest players. Period. I've seen in FPF. So those are some great choices up there as well. Anthony Breezeball got a vote. Got a vote
Yeah,
as
I
well.
saw that.
For Quay Johnson. I was thinking to do Anthony. Anthony's a good dude, man. Anthony's a good dude. They're gonna do him dirty like that. Obviously, he's joking around between him and Quaid. But yeah, so super cool. I know we got a lot of likes. Shout out to Alex LaRoche, friend of the show as well. We also asked who is the most underrated female player right now in FPF. So someone voted Lori. Well, actually, 2 people voted for Lori. So shout out to Rob White and Steve Hamilton. They both said either, well, Rob White, so Rob Blanco said Lori Willette, and then Steve Hamilton said either Lori or Emma. So shout out to Emma as well. I can definitely agree. I think both are underrated, but we do talk about them a lot because they're fantastic players. Another question I asked was who is the best female player right? Sorry, who's the best two-way player, female two-way player in FPF? So no responses on that one yet. So I'm gonna repost that question this week. And who is the best female player, period, right now in this season in FPF? Doesn't have to be a quarterback, it could be any position you want. Who's the best female player right now in FPF for this 2026 spring season? So make sure to go out and vote. Again, these questions will be on Facebook. I know Ali Rez I think, is going to create them on Instagram as well. Make sure to go out and vote. Do you have any suggestions for that? Who's the best female player right now or best two-way player?
On top of my mind, no. I do like for best two-way player. I like Lorianne Bush.
Oh, Bouchard?
Yeah, I like her as two-way player. I
Yeah.
think she's able to play offense and defense. For the fastest player though, I have a top three, and it's very precise. I think again, I agree with everyone saying, but I think it's Jessica, Stella, and then Leah Duvel.
Okay,
Duvel.
okay, okay.
I think that those are the top three girls. I've seen them all run. Phoebe's fast too. Don't get me wrong. Phoebe is fast, but I think those three girls are extremely fast. But they bring all different aspects. Like I think Jessica's more like she's quick, but I feel like she's able to go a bit further. Duvel, I think it's more agility. Like she'll get to you in 10 yards like a speeding bullet. And then I think Stella is also a type of athlete runner where she's also like long term. So I think like Leia is like a faster 10-meter runner compared to Jessica and Stella, where they're able to kind of run a bit longer and faster than her. But those are my top three if I'm choosing the fastest athletes. And then you said so that was two-way, and then most athletic, I think you said.
No, just this best player, period. Who do you think's the best female player right now in FPF?
That I'm not sure, to be honest with you, because it's so hard to pick. Because some girls just play offense, some women just play offense, some play defense. You don't get to kind of see them both ways. And it's like, are you better than this woman on defense, and she is better than the offense? That's a hard question. So I don't.
Okay. So you know. Okay. So I'll give you. So I'm gonna agree with you on your picks for fastest. Leah Duval is fast. I would put Phoebe in there just because I know Phoebe. She has run track. So I'm going to assume she's gonna be faster than Leah Duval, who I don't know if she ran track or not, but Phoebe's super athletic. I will put her. I'll put in two-way. I'm gonna throw in also Alice Lucier of the Birds.
Okay.
Yeah, you have to. I think you have to.
She's a former.
She's up there with 10 TDs right now and 359 yards as a receiver at least.
She's actually going to Sherbrooke this year too. It's gonna be interesting to see her play down.
There you go. Okay, well there you go. Perfect. I think best female period. I mean, there's a couple of names I have on this list. I'm purposely not voting on it. I mean, I could, but since I created a question, I think I want to try and be neutral. I'm gonna throw a name there that you didn't mention, and I think is a player that we all know of, or she should know by now if unless you live under a rock. Lara Azuko. I think is one of the top female players in all of FPF. I'm gonna throw Emma. I mean, Emma works for the league, but even if she didn't, I would still put Emma on that list. Gigi as well. Gigi, I think, is one of the top female players in all of FPF. So when we were talking co-ed before, Marielle Paradis, right? I talked about her. Sorry, not with women. So my apologies with the originals, right? I talked about it before. I've seen her play both sides of the ball. She is a baller, and I don't think I'd be out of my wits by saying that she's one of the top female players, period, right now in FPF as well. And there's like a slew of other females you can mention, right? There's a ton of other females who are ballers in this league that we can mention. I'm just going off the top of my head here. Again, I didn't want to vote on a list because again, I created this the list or the poll, whatever you want to call it, because I created. But again, yeah, Marielle Paradis is definitely on that list as well, along with a ton of other female players here in FPF.
Yeah, there's a lot.
Another question I asked too with this one, I asked this one kind of late, is who's the most overrated team in Women's A and Division A? So the 5v5 for women, obviously, and 6v6 for men. Who's the most overrated team? Well, we could touch base on that next week. Waiting for some more responses to come in for that one, because that's the one question no one answered yet. So I really want to hear what people have to say on who they think is the most overrated team in Women's A and Division A.
Interesting. All right. So again, we'll touch base for that next week.
Yeah. Final thoughts. My Knicks for the champs. Super happy. I was supposed to go to the parade today. I'm disappointed in myself for not going. I'm teaching tomorrow. So I was saying to myself, all right, well, the weather was crappy yesterday. I got off work. I was teaching yesterday too, and I was like, I could drive down to New York. I mean, I've done it before. It's about 6.5 hours, give or take. But I was like, the weather was really bad. And I'm like, you have to, I was told you have to get the parade started at 10 a.m. I watched it on TV, so I'm off today. And I was told, yeah, you got to get there at least like 7 a.m. I'm like, all right, cool. But then I'm like, I got to leave pretty much right after. So I have a friend of mine, shout out to my homegirl, Natalie. She lives in Brooklyn. So I was going to crash by her. And she wanted to watch the parade too because she's a Knicks fan. And she says, yeah, well, come down if you want, dude. But then she's like, she may have to be away for work. And she was like, I might actually not be around for work. So I'm like, well, if you're not there, then I got to find out she's going to have to leave me the keys at the desk downstairs. And it was kind of a headache. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna sit it out. I'm very disappointed in myself. I'm very, very disappointed in
I'm
myself.
kind of disappointed in you, to be honest with you. It's
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's not my only chance. Shut up, Ali. It's not my only chance. Listen, stop being a
not
coward and
not
get your voice on this podcast, you coward. But it's not my only chance. Well, you know what? So right now we're coming in the fourth favorite seed to fourth favorites to win the championship. I don't know how the Boston Celtics are rated higher than us to win the championship next year. Boston, please get out of here with that BS. Please, I can understand OKC being first. I don't understand how they're saying the Spurs be more of a favorite than us. We should be second, at least behind OKC, if not first. The Celtics, get out of here. I'm not worried about them. But anyways, whatever. I'm happy we won. It's been 53 years. I've waited my entire life to see it. I'm super happy and proud of my Knicks. I watched the parade all day today on TV, and wish I was there. I'm very disappointed in myself for not going. But we're the champs. That's all I care about. We're the champs. That's what I cared to see, and finally got to see it.
Mm. Right, my dog's kind of going crazy. Someone's at the door. So.
No worries. Ali Reza is going to keep on cheering for the Lakers and his homeboy LeBron James because, you know, Ali Reza was too scared to get his voice on the podcast. He's a huge Lakers fan. Just doesn't want to admit it. He already has that Austin Reeves jersey. Austin Reeves, please stay is what he's holding up right now. I'm sure you can't see him, but I'm sure that's what he's holding up right now. Big sign, Austin Reeves jersey. Yeah, Golden State for Larry, trashing the team. Anyways, whatever. It is what it is. I'm excited. The draft is next week. Free agency the week after that. I'm super excited. I am not going to come off this high for a long time. I hope we win the championship next year, but even if we don't, I'm this Knicks winning it. I was watching with my girlfriend and a couple of friends on Saturday. I had two buddies in town from Brooklyn, actually. They came down to watch us, so a bunch of us were together hanging out. It was we were having a couple of drinks. It was a good time on Saturday night. I got very little sleep on Sunday, and we won our game on Sunday, so I'm so happy. But yeah,
There you go.
Knicks in 5. Knicks in 5. 2026, you're the Knicks. What was that, Ali? Sorry? It's not over, my friend. It's not over till October, my friend. You hear my mouth until October. 2026, you're the Knicks, baby. We're swishing and dishing, winning and grinning, my friend. It's good times. Good times. Shout out to Walt Clyde Frazier. Let's go next. Thank you. All right, it's been the latest episode of FlagPlus Football's First and Goal podcast. I'm Brent. He's Quaysie. Thank you to Ali Reza for doing this thing.
There you go.
Let's go, baby. Let's go.
And also, shout out to Team Canada for the World Cup. You know, I want to see a long run for them as well too. Got to bring some soccer in. We're in the soccer area. Basketball's done. Football's done.
Damn right.
You're a baseball fan. You're a baseball fan. But you know, we have the World Cup for basically a month. Yes. Hopefully, Canada's able to make a long run there, and we don't know. But yeah, thanks for watching today.
I'm happy with my Team England getting a big W yesterday. Harry Kane was looking nice in that game, but I am cheering for Canada as well. I might be in a pool where I put some money on a certain team. I won't say who that is, but whatever. It's all good. Let's go Team Canada. It's a good start to the summer. Weather, the sun's at least out a little bit, at least down here where I'm at. So hopefully that'll stay the case. If it rains, whatever, it's not snowing, I'll take it. It's all good. We good?
Yeah, may as well. Please.
See you guys next time. Peace. Let's go Knicks.